plans this summer? Dive into summer with an ASE Credit Union vacation loan. Whether you've got a trip coming up, projects at home, or just need a little extra cash, we've got you covered. So don't put your plans on hold. Visit yourasecu.com or stop by and see us today.
1819 News.
Today, June 18th, marks the date that 70 years ago in 1954, Alabama Attorney General nominee Albert Patterson was shot and killed on the streets of Phoenix City. Patterson had just won the Democratic Party nomination, running on one main issue: to clean up the corruption and illegal activity that was going on in Phoenix City. Patterson was committed to taking on the criminal enterprise that involved illegal gambling, drugs, prostitution, and alcohol in that city. And the gangsters who were making money off of that activity did not want anyone coming in and stopping it. 1819 News reporter Jim Ziegler has a very extensive article out today on the 1819 News website that details how the murder of Patterson radically changed the course of history for the state of Alabama and its tolerance of such criminal activity. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Some of the greatest blessings is just having people that care about you, to have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
Tuskegee had a ribbon-cutting ceremony this week for Samkey America. That is a South Korean company that has built a $178 million facility in Tuskegee in order to supply Hyundai, Kia, and Ford auto manufacturers. Samkey produces die-cast aluminum components that are used in engines, transmissions, as well as EVs. A minor traffic stop in Priceville results in a major drug bust. Anthony and Kylie Owen were stopped along Interstate 65, where police found dozens of packages containing cannabis. The two are now being held in the Morgan County Jail. Both are from Mineola, Florida. I'm Andrea Tyson.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Hey, mister, I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a fella in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his can. I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. We call it News and Views locally. Live, we call it, well, Joey Clark Live Online. Welcome into the show. And as is tradition on Tuesdays, getting back on it, we have the one, the only, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Judge, how are you doing today, sir?
I am well, Joey. Thank you, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing quite well myself. Good to see you today. And, well, are we just at the precipice of something crazy right now? And I guess I'm referring to Russia and also what's going on in Gaza, continuing to go on in Gaza. And we talk about this almost every week. Where is the authority to be involved in these high-stakes games? I know you've been talking to folks about the peace agreement that Putin put out there, clearly was rejected by the West. Are we truly, just to remind the audience, really playing with fire here?
Well, you know, I had on my show last week Coach Tuberville, and I asked him point blank, did I miss something? Did the Congress declare war on Russia? And he said, no, you didn't miss anything. We have not declared war on Russia, and we have the government has no legal or constitutional authority to wage war on Russia using Ukraine forces as a surrogate and supplying them with the military equipment, and that's effectively what's going on. Now, you ask where this is going. It depends what NATO and Europe and the United States do. If they start putting boots on the ground, they will be commencing World War III because Putin will not tolerate that. Putin's actually been very restrained because Russians are being killed in Russia by American military equipment aimed and triggered by American personnel. He hasn't, as far as we know, killed any American personnel. But under the law, he has every right to attack the location from which the equipment came, the place where the equipment is assembled and stored and maintained. That would be Poland and Romania. And the people that are doing the storing and maintenance, that would be American and NATO troops in uniform in Poland and Romania, out of uniform in Ukraine. My view is, you've heard me say this before on your show and elsewhere, that Joe Biden wants to run for re-election as a wartime president and almost hopes that we are engaged in some type of conflagration, which puts American troops at risk. In terms of Gaza, the world is collapsing around Israel. They are not succeeding in defeating Hamas. Their military is exhausted over Prime Minister Netanyahu's objection. Remember, the commander-in-chief of the Israeli military is not the prime minister. It's the cabinet. And his cabinet voted for a one-day pause over his objection. I couldn't imagine that happening here, but here the law is different. Over his objection and the objection of two members of his cabinet, the two leaders of the right-wing parties that are part of his coalition. It was just crazy to read on the front page of yesterday's New York Times that the IDF announced a pause in hostilities in Rafah for humanitarian purposes. And Prime Minister Netanyahu said he learned about this by reading it in an Israeli newspaper, and he condemned it. His own cabinet didn't even tell him that they had voted to do this. Unless the condemnation was just for domestic political purposes, who knows? So neither of those long-winded answer to your question. I apologize, Joey, but neither situations is happy for America. Both are extremely perilous. To make Gaza even worse, Netanyahu is picking a fight with Hezbollah. The last time one of his predecessors did that, Israel lost and was chased home in 1967. If he thinks American troops are going to be on the ground helping him, think again.
Well, and again, folks, you can always go to the Judge's podcast, Judging Freedom, if you want to do a deep dive into these subjects. He has true subject matter experts on this, as well as, I would say, intrepid, fearless reporting on this as well. And there's so many different ways to go with this. But first, I got to ask you, what did you think of Coach Tuberville doing the interview with him?
Oh, it was a delight. It was an absolute delight. I felt like we were longtime friends. I mean, he flattered me. He said he watched the program, and he had a number of quotations and ideas and comments about what we said. And he's pretty close to libertarian in a number of his views. He's shrewd enough when he disagrees with the Republican majority to abstain rather than vote against them. But then he goes on the floor of the Senate and says why he was against what the Republican leadership wants. You know me, I think Republicans and Democrats in the Congress are Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Right.
Senator Tuberville is not.
Yeah, he is, especially after that long hold regarding abortion policies with the military. I think him learning the process behind the scenes, especially with his fellow Republicans, especially them, that he's almost been more radicalized. Like I've noticed the change in the man in the last few years. I'll put it that way.
Well, that's terrific. I wasn't sure what we were going to get, a football coach in the Senate, but we have somebody who's a very clear thinker, dresses to kill, handsome, in great shape, and makes a great presentation, particularly when he's angry.
Oh, yeah. And I would encourage folks, again, to go to your podcast, Judging Freedom, and watch that interview from last week. I think it was a week ago, last Tuesday.
Folks, I reminded him that I was lecturing at the Mises Institute, adjacent to the Auburn campus. You know this. You've been there, directly across the street from the football stadium. And all those years when he was beating Alabama, I think 6 times in a row. Now, up here in New Jersey, that doesn't mean much, but I know what that means in Auburn.
Well, I love reminding him that my first year at Auburn as a freshman was his last year And that wasn't a great year for him. So, but it's weird how lives definitely overlap. And yeah, the Meese Institute right in the shadow of Jordan Hare. Now, with everything you laid out with your first answer, and I really do appreciate the length of the answer and the depth of it. What do you really think it's Biden in charge? Because right now there's this parlor game of Biden's freezing up on stage. You have the defenders of him saying, well, this is just misinformation. Of course, every little gaffe, the detractors and Republicans are saying, oh, look, the man's losing his mind. You've known Biden, right? Not like closely, but you've known Biden over the years. What do you see of, is this guy actually running things?
Well, the Biden that I have known was a different human being. I mean, my familiarity with him, which is probably about 8 or 9 in-person conversations, including a few of them literally sitting next to him on a train, goes back 20 years. Well, not 20 years. I take that back. He was vice president at the time because the Secret Service came up to me and said the vice president is holding a seat for you. So it wasn't that long ago, but it was a different person. This was a JFK Roman Catholic style Democrat. Now he seems to be out of it. And when he does say something, he's tugged to the hard left. Now, who's in charge? I think he probably gives guidance to the people around him and lets them fill in the blanks or add meat to the bones, whichever analogy you want. Did he personally decide that American weapons could be used to land inside of Russia? Probably something of that magnitude. They would have to have his signature on a piece of paper before they could do that. The Defense Department would demand his signature on a piece of paper. So things of that nature, I think he probably did decide. How many billions or how many hundreds of millions go today, tomorrow, the next day to Israel or to Ukraine are probably decided by Secretary Blinken and his folks.
Yeah, and it makes me nervous with the seriousness of events in the world that you don't have a president fully in command, I think. I think you're right that he's signing off on things. Of course, we've had this in our history. I think even later in the years with Reagan, Woodrow Wilson was barely there. Right. I'm sure it happened with FDR as well. So we've survived this in the past, but again, it does make me quite nervous. And another thing that makes me nervous is this idea that, well, any emergency gives the government, and especially presidents, the authority to do whatever they want. I know we've talked around this topic, but I want to revisit your American Caesar op-ed. Where did this come from? This idea of emergency gives us a blank check.
It came from the worst president in American history, who caused the death of 750,000 Americans, Abraham Lincoln, who declared an emergency and said that gave him the authority to arrest people without charge, without habeas corpus, and without trial. He arrested 3,000 journalists and newspaper editors in the North, not in the South, in the North, who were critical of his wartime leadership. That was picked up by by Woodrow Wilson, by FDR, by Harry Truman, by George W. Bush, by Ronald Reagan, by Donald Trump, and by Joe Biden. Presidents have argued that emergency enhances their authority, and they can do things in an emergency to address the emergency, which they don't have the authority to do beforehand. The one time the Supreme Court reviewed this was 1866. The Civil War was over. Lincoln was dead. And this is a court appointed by Lincoln. They unanimously condemned the doctrine of emergency. The case is called In re Milligan. They released Mr. Milligan from custody. He was one of those 3,000 people who had been arrested. And they said point blank, the Constitution applies in good times and in bad. The rules mean the same for the people running the government and for the people who are being governed by the government. Stated differently, emergency does not create power. Only the Constitution creates power. Emergency was once defined by the courts, and it was defined as a state of affairs such that the courts could not sit to address due process claims. Now, by that definition, we've never had an emergency in our history because the courts sat during the Civil War, even in the South, the federal courts, and the courts sat the day after 9/11, even in lower Manhattan, a few blocks from where 9/11 happened. So even by their own definition, we have never had an emergency. Joe Biden declared the inability of certain former students to pay back their student loans to be an emergency. Barack Obama declared Colonel Gaddafi's presence as the leader of Libya to be an emergency. Donald Trump declared the presence of General Soleimani at an airport in Baghdad to be an emergency. I mean, this goes on and on and on, allowing presidents usually to kill, but always to curtail civil liberties. It's unconstitutional. It's violative of the law. It's a crime. It's never punished. It's never punished.
Right. And so for the first president in our history to be convicted of a felony to be over a hush money trial in a very creative legal theory to get there, it's like, look at all these other like crimes where 100,000 millions of lives are affected. It's a harsh irony there. Now, but speaking of the Supreme Court, I know last week they came out, they've been coming out with rulings, overturned the bump stock ban. It was reported that Justice Roberts ordered the fencing put up around the court, I guess in anticipation of some ruling that's going to make certain folks very upset. I'd imagine that's over presidential immunity. But what I'm really looking forward to, and I know we talked about this, but it'd be good for the audience to get into it again, is the overturn of the Chevron doctrine. I would love to see the courts essentially take back power from this unofficial fourth branch of government, the administrative state, as people call it, give it back to the Congress, give it back to the courts themselves. Where do you think they're going to go with this?
Well, they have indicated that they're probably going to overrule Chevron. Chevron basically says if an administrative agency, not in the Constitution, created by Woodrow Wilson as a fourth branch of government, like the Food and Drug Administration, the Environmental Protection Administration, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the bump stock people, if an administrative agency's behavior is challenged in court, the court must give deference to the decisions of the administrative agency. So the challenger and the defendant are not equal in the courtroom. I think that doctrine will be overruled, and there will be no requirement of judicial deference to the administrative agency, and the administrative agency's lawyers will be equal to the challenger's lawyers. They came very close to doing this without saying they were doing it last year. I forget the name of the case. I believe it was an EPA case, but this time I think they're actually going to say Chevron is repealed and this concept doesn't exist anymore. The bump stock case was not a case about the Second Amendment. It was a case about who gets to write the laws, because after this horrible tragedy in Las Vegas where the killer used a bump stock to fire rapidly at people at a concert and to slaughter 49 of them, someone proposed a bump stock ban in Congress. It was defeated.
Right.
And then the Trump administration enacted it anyway. And the Supreme Court said, you can't do that. If Congress doesn't want it, we're not having it. If Congress wants it, we have it. Same thing with the abortion drug. It wasn't about abortion. It was about who gets to challenge the FDA. This was a group of 6 pro-life doctors. God bless them. Their hearts are in the right place. They don't perform abortions. They don't prescribe the drug. They don't buy the drug. They don't make the drug. They don't sell the drug. They're not harmed by the drug. They didn't have standing to sue. Does anybody have standing to sue? Yes, the states that have prohibited abortion. Where's that case? On its way to the Supreme Court in 2025.
But I'm sure our own Attorney General Steve Marshall is joining in that if he's not leading.
I'm sure he's on the pro-life and the states' rights side of that. Look, the states' rights thing doesn't always work out. Here's a cocktail party conversation for you. I would say fun fact, but the answer is not funny. Where have there been more abortions per year? Under Roe versus Wade or under the Dobbs case, which said it's up to the states? Under Dobbs. More abortions since that decision came down, Sam Alito.
Wow. And then on presidential immunity, I think that's why the fencing is being put up.
Well, that's coming on Friday the 28th.
Okay, a week or two.
I think they're probably going to send that back to the trial court and let a jury decide if what he did was personal, no immunity. If what he did was presidential, immunity.
No, and I'm just, as you were describing the bum stock ban and how that came about, I'm just in my head. It's an issue I have, Judge. I'm hearing Trump going, I am the greatest defender of the Second Amendment. I don't know who this Judge Napolitano is, but it's like, it's amazing what he gets away with. I would say if there's a gun to my head, I'd probably go with Trump. Alabama's going to go with Trump anyway over Biden. But I really wish we could do better than our current choice, if it is even a choice coming up this November.
Well, I say that as, I talked about having 8 or 9 conversations with Biden. I've had many, many conversations with Trump. I know him very well, but I agree with you. This is really not the best choice for those of us who believe that Israel is practicing genocide. It'll be worse under Trump. Ukraine, he might say to Zelensky, you got a month to sit down with Putin. And Putin will say, I'm not talking to him. He's not the president anymore. And Putin will be right. Well, then send the head of the government, of the military, and he'll negotiate with Putin. So there are aspects of Trump that are good, and there are aspects of Trump that will not produce a change.
Well, we shall see. As my former boss said, in the fullness of time. And I always appreciate your time. If folks do want to check out Judging Freedom, how can they do so?
Well, Judging Freedom on YouTube today at 2:00. Phil Giraldi. Does the Mossad spy on Americans? At 3:00, Karen Kwiatkowski. Does the American empire have a death wish? At 5:00, this young firebrand, you should get to know him by the name of Ryan Dawson. What will happen when Netanyahu comes in July? Massive resistance. All of that today on Judging Freedom. The times are Eastern. I know you're in the Central time zone. The times are Eastern times.
Well, I always appreciate, before I let you go, folks, I'm a radio guy. I'm just learning the streaming thing. That lean in the judge just did, that's proper TV trading right there. That's just beautiful. Well,
Fox put me in front of a camera 14,500 times. And I forget the guy's name, the Harvard professor that wrote Outlier, says if you've done something 10,000 times, you're an expert at it.
Malcolm Gladwell, yeah.
There you go, Malcolm Gladwell. You do the math.
Well, thank you, Judge. God bless, sir.
Right back at you, Joey. Until next week, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, folks, that's Judge Andrew Napolitano. Always appreciate. He is very generous with his time. And, well, I'm not alone in the studio. Eddie, though, is not here, but Byron Sheehy is here. How you doing today?
Doing well, Joey. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You're recovering from a little thing?
A little bit.
A little sickness?
A little down under the weather last week, but seem to be getting my stride back about me now.
Well,
a lot to unpack from the judge's interview there.
You're going to have to say that again?
A lot to unpack from the judge's interview.
Yeah, man. In particular, I saw you cheering with the Chevron doctrine conversation.
I was making notes, before the show, and I didn't know that he was going to take it that way, and we didn't converse or anything. So whenever he touched on that, I was giving a fist bump over here, talk about trying to kneecap the deep state.
Oh yeah,
that's one way to go about it. Probably one of the easiest and quickest solutions that should have happened a long time ago.
Well, and with Trump, you do have to take the good with the bad. In many ways, that court the court that's doing these things is a product of Trump getting elected and Trump making those particular appointments. But yeah, you got to take the good with the bad.
Man, I mean, you've sat in on the political science classes and everything.
Oh, sure.
The most important people in Washington is the Supreme Court.
Yes.
I mean, you look at how many impactful decisions they have during their tenure versus any other politician, senator, president, I don't care. The Supreme Court does more to sway a country one way or the other, and it seems like the pendulum does have to, go one way for a long time, but we are now seeing the rewards from a conservative court.
And what we're seeing lately is, I think the Supreme Court's always been hands-off. The media's been hands-off with the Supreme Court for the longest time, and it's because, say, the liberal media or the mainstream press or the corporate press, whatever you want to call them, those guys, they realize, oh, the court's on our side. We got the court.
Yeah.
We're fine. We don't need to, screw them over. We don't need to, smear them with our microphones and our ink. But they did do it to presidents. Like, seriously, the more people look back at Watergate, they're like, wait, 2 of the guys in the robbery were on the CIA payroll? The heck is that?
I didn't realize they were on CIA payroll.
Yeah, Woodward was a naval intelligence officer who just kind of had this story dropped in his lap.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Like, he wasn't even a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
So it's stuff like that where it makes you go, and in that moment, even if there's no conspiracy, like everything just kind of happened how it was officially reported, it was a moment where the American press corps realized we can take down presidents. We can easily deal with congressmen and senators. We can now take down one of the most popular presidents in all of American history when you look at those elections he won.
I think the press has always known the power that they've had.
Right.
I mean, the old saying was what, don't get in a fight with someone that buys ink by the barrel.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain institutions, if you will. Like, I wouldn't want to go get in a fight with the Murdoch family.
No, yeah. There's certain folks you don't want to mess with, but they're now shifting. Okay, you can take out congressmen and senators. Congressmen are easy.
Mm-hmm.
President's a little more difficult, but look at the number they've even done on Trump. Even with all the distrust of the media, they're now trying to take aim at the court itself. I, in my humble opinion, don't think it's working. It's not working on me, but that's a weird bird.
I think as more unpopular decisions come out from this court, that the momentum will build. And they're going to continue to build the case. Yep. They're going to have negative article after negative article on Alito or,
and Thomas.
Pick a conservative, justice. And that's just going to be the MO.
Yeah.
And eventually, they're going to see where that builds to. But yeah, it's a long way. Who was the swing vote? Was it Sutter?
Souter. Yeah.
Souter. Yeah, long way from that sort of moderate liberal court.
Oh, yeah, and you can tell now. And it's just, folks, you say the Supreme Court's the most powerful in Washington. I think the most powerful, say, governing institution in this country isn't technically a governing institution. It is the media.
Mm-hmm.
And they are continuing to flex their muscles despite the amount of distrust and different options people have. We got to hit a break here.
All right.
First, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And they're at Pest Pro. Well, Ashley and her team are ready to help you with all your pest control needs. So it could be you need termite inspection and treatment done. Could be you're looking to get that yard treated to get rid of those mosquitoes, and it really works. Like, if you actually want to enjoy your backyard, if you actually want to enjoy the front porch or have the pool party going without having to worry about all these nasty mosquitoes going for that sweet meat, it's always right around the ankle. Also, it just can't stand that when they bite you there. And they're coming after you, those mosquitoes. Pest Pro can take care of them. They're true professionals, and they know how to get rid of those nasty things. And, of course, it could be a cockroach infestation. It could be wasp or subterranean yellow jackets. You don't know. Could be wood scorpions that are getting too much on your part. Eddie is scared to death of those things, Byron.
Yeah.
And so Pest Pro, here's the point, can do it all. And you might as well, even if you don't have a pressing need or emergency, make them your everyday pest control company. That number, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell them that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Honey, I got my bonus check today.
That's great, sweetheart.
Let's book that Hawaiian vacation right now.
Actually, I was thinking more like an electrical upgrade for our house.
What?
It's not all that glamorous, but updating your home's electrical system is a great investment, enhancing its value and your safety. The panel and wiring in most older homes were not designed to meet modern demands. The experts at Crosby Electric can update your system to give you peace of mind.
Sorry, honey, but I just want to feel safe in my own home.
Faulty wiring and electrical equipment are among leading causes of most home fires. Crosby Electric will make sure your panel, meter, circuit breakers, and receptacles are up to date.
I can just see us lying on the beach at Waikiki.
And I can see us lying in our own bed, knowing we're safe.
Okay, but next year...
I'll dance the hula in a grass skirt.
All right.
Sleep well with no electrical worries. For a free home assessment, visit crosbyelectric.com.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. It's time to get your cooling system ready for the long, hot summer. Call today about the advantages of the Clark Club membership to be sure you're covered. Call 277-2125. Better call Clark. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Not officially summer yet, but getting close. The summer solstice is Thursday. Today, pretty routine, high 95. Once again, triple digits on the heat index. A sun and cloud mix. The risk of a isolated shower, maybe a random thunderstorm. Most towns get skipped, and mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. Low tonight down to about 73. Low 90s tomorrow and Wednesday. Good bit of sunshine. Rain chances mostly under 20%. And not much change on the first day of summer, Thursday, high 94. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations since we began in 1906. At CB&S Bank, we're here for you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, before we get to our guest here, Byron wanted to make a point. Can you hear it all? Technical difficulties here, folks. How you doing? You hearing nothing? Plug into a different one. Well, 272-9228 is the number, and you wanted to make a quick point about Tuberville?
Yeah, so to the point earlier about the media destroying whatever politician or institutions they want to, and the Supreme Court kind of being the most powerful, we have seen recently that a single senator can be the most influential person in D.C., depending on the vote. I'm glad to see that Senator Tuberville has learned the power of one in the Senate.
Amen.
And he's a strong man to have that power.
And he does have notoriously thick skin.
I think he's pretty good at playing defense.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure he's been dog cussed all sorts of different ways when he was just a football coach.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing you can say to a football coach or a football player that hasn't been said to anyone.
Now, let's go to a gentleman named Mike Shaner. He is with the Alabama Mises Caucus. In fact, Mike, I believe you're the head of the Mises Caucus here in Alabama.
Well, we're a decentralized group, so I wouldn't say that there's a head, but I'm speaking for us today.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show. For folks who don't know about, say, the Mises Caucus or the different splits between the Libertarian Party, we're kind of doing some cleanup from the convention, folks. But lay out for the folks who don't know the dynamics of the LP right now, what the Mises Caucus is and how it's positioned within the Libertarian Party.
Sure. Hey, and I appreciate you guys having me on, too. I really enjoyed listening to it, and while we were on the break there, I found me a new pest control company to use, so that's pretty cool, too. But one of your sponsors. So, but yeah, the difference in the caucus is sort of the Ron Paul revolution, the Ron Paul wing of the Libertarian Party. The other side of the Libertarian Party is more, so there's really three splits. There's like a centrist, like the Gary Johnson type, and then there's the left wing, the boot on your head, just the radical wearing diapers and face masks sort of deals. And we're the answer to that. We're the right side of it, I think. And it's just going back to what brought a lot of the serious people into the party to begin with. I came way back in, really before I heard of Ron Paul, but back in 2001. And then found Ron Paul, left because I found Ron Paul, came back, and then they went through like a wild period there, kind of a very boring period, but a wild period. And I left again for that reason. And then I came back when the Mises Caucus came in, because the Mises Caucus was trying to make us a serious organization focused on grassroots, local changes, so we can be where our feet are and we can really impact messaging, impact communities, and grow from there. And the other side wants to make it more of a, they just want to run any candidate they can. If a candidate will run, they'll run. The messaging that they put out it isn't a lot different than what a Democrat would put out. I don't really see a point in it, is the answer to that. But I hope I answered your question. I'm going on a little bit.
No, you did, and that makes a lot of sense to me. That's my understanding of the situation. And so what happened at the Libertarian Convention? Because it did seem like there was momentum for the Mises Caucus going into the convention. I know Dave Smith has pretty much owned this, saying when he chose not to run for president, it did take some of the air out of the balloon. But what happened at the convention?
My take on the convention is there was a little bit of arrogance, I think, on our part. I think we kind of believed we had it sewn up, and didn't really cross all the T's and dot the I's. I think we didn't run the best candidate possible. We ran a guy who was principled, who has the right beliefs, but maybe he wasn't the best messenger, but he was the guy that was available at the time. And he still really, it took some shenanigans. It took some backroom deals, and it took a 13th hour beat Noda getting 40% of the vote to still lose it. But we won. We won a lot of the things that matter.
Right.
We still have the chair. We still have control of the national committee. We still have all the things that really matter. But where it took a lot of air out was we did lose that presidential nomination to the other side. And I'm not going to blame it on Dave Smith. He's got the right to run or not run or whatever he wants to do. But when he stepped out, if Dave had ran, it's no contest. I mean, we wouldn't be talking about this. If Dave ran, he's the nominee. If even we could have gotten Spike Cohen to run, that would have been a unity ticket. He's the nominee. As it is, we got what we got, and I'm not going to try to say it was illegitimate or anything like that. I'm not going to try to take it away from the win away from him. He has it. He has the nomination, and they played politics. And I think at the end there, they played it a little bit better than we did, and that's how we ended up where we are.
Well, and I want to give a huge hat tip to Angela McArdle. I think she's doing a great job as chair of the LP. And I thought the convention, it got news, it got buzz. And were you there in the room with the showdown with Donald Trump?
I was not. I actually was here in Alabama, I'm in Tallahassee, and I was actually here on the farm. I was watching it all on YouTube. So I saw it live, but no, I wasn't in the room. But I've had I've had a lot of reports about it, and I could kind of almost feel it through the screen. So, yeah, and you're right. I want to give a shout-out to Angela, too, because she did an amazing job. Just for the first time, and I don't like that it's being overshadowed by the candidate, because for the first time, it was a relevant convention. What we did was relevant. We had people that you couldn't imagine being at the LP. I mean, we had Ron Paul, we had Donald Trump, we had Vivek, we had Kennedy. I mean, it was a huge convention. And we were all over the news. People were reporting not just about the important deals that we make, but if you looked at AP headlines, it spelled out what in the Fed meant. It spelled out like what our priorities were in AP articles. People that like left-wing articles, because they thought they were dissing Donald Trump. They're like, oh, the LP crowd booed Donald Trump because as they were chanting in the Fed and free Ross. And it really laid out our platform better than we ever had. It was such a brilliant move by Angela.
Well, and I believe that another big thing over the weekend, Steve Bannon, of all people, started yelling in the Fed from the stage. So, I mean, it seems like the ideas that are coming from the libertarians, especially the Ron Paul Revolution libertarians, are making their way across the board.
They really are. They really are. And to have Steve Bannon, which is somebody that we don't agree on everything, obviously, but it's somebody that I really respect, and his impact on the movement is phenomenal. And to have somebody like him up there chanting, that just goes to show it. Because that's unheard of 2 years ago.
So if you're a Ron Paul libertarian, where do you throw your time, money, energy, and your vote when it comes to this November?
So this November, here's how I personally do it versus what I think the caucus strategy should be. It's two things. What I personally would do if I were going to vote in that election, if like voting in federal elections is your big thing, then I would write in eliminate the office. That's what I would do. And that's not a dig on Donald Trump. I'm in Alabama, right? Alabama, Donald Trump's going to win. Right. It doesn't matter what you, me, or anybody else do. Donald Trump's going to win this state. So that's not a big deal. What I think the Libertarian Party should do is any resources, any money, anything that could be devoted to Chase in states like Alabama, Mississippi. There's no point in spending. It's detrimental to us as a party to do it anyway, but it doesn't benefit Chase. It doesn't benefit anybody to spend time and resources by promoting Chase Oliver in the state of Alabama. All that money should be spent to the swing states. I really would I would help them get Chase on the ticket in Wisconsin. That's a big deal because Chase he's going to make an impact there. It's going to be good for the party. He's going to bring in voters, and he's going to pull the right people. So that's what I would do. I say concentrate all the time and effort, put as much as you can, and get Chase Oliver on the ticket in the swing states. Here, let's focus on local, because I heard your previous caller. He said something to the effect of the most important. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something about like the biggest influence on government can be something in the Senate. I disagree. I think the biggest influence on government and how we can truly change government is by nullification at a local level. So I think that what the Libertarian Party is and can be, where we can actually make a difference. We need to run a presidential candidate to be messaging, right? And in this case, we have what we have. But we really need to be focused on local level, restraining our local governments, putting people at the local level who are going to nullify anything that a larger government will do. We need people at the city level that are going to nullify the overreaches by the county. We need people at the county that are going to nullify the overreaches by the state. So we need to be putting all of our resources not in the federal election, but in those local elections. And then in those swing states, all that federal money that we have to spend, devote it there, pour it out there. I'm all for it.
That makes a lot of sense to me. And so it sounds like you're not a huge fan of the Alabama legislature.
Yeah, that would be accurate.
Well, next time they're in session, if y'all are up to things, like being active here locally, love to have you on the program and love to get involved myself. I'm nice with everybody. It's just part of my personality and temperament. But I like the folks that are throwing figurative bombs at the establishment here in Alabama. So I love that idea. Really do, Mike.
Well, I appreciate that, and definitely I'd love to work with you in any way we can, and that's what we want to be known as. That's the purpose of the caucus. We want to be known as making an impact locally. We're not going to make an impact on the national level, and anybody that thinks that outside of we can play kingmaker here and there, and Angela has actually set us up to make, the deals that we have with Trump in place if he wins. people say, well, he may not keep his promises. Well, I don't know, but nobody else is promising that has a chance to win, so it's worth the effort for that. But so that's the biggest national exposure that we've ever had, but we're not really making an impact in the national level, and it's time to face that and say, but hey, where can we make a level? We can make a level. Where can we make a difference? We can make a difference with our community. You know, we can be active here, and so yeah, I'd love to work with you any way I can on that.
Well, and if other folks are listening, maybe feel politically homeless, especially don't like the Republicans here at the state level in Alabama that dominate across the board, or maybe you're not a fan of their local government and they want to join, say, the Mises Caucus here in Alabama, how can they do so?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that. They can go to lpmc.org. You can actually go to lp.org or lpa.org and join the state party. But to come straight to the Mises, just go to lpmc.org, and you'll find us by state and just register that way.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time today, Mike, and yeah, let's not be strangers. I'd love to do this again soon.
Absolutely. Have me on anytime. I appreciate you having me, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Mike Shaner.
Man, have you ever participated in a convention?
No.
It is brutal.
Yeah?
It's one of those things. He kind of said it, from my take, in a very diplomatic sort of way, but it sounds like they got worked.
Oh, yeah. What happened? I interviewed both Michael Rectenwald, who was the Mises Caucus nationally candidate. It should have been Dave Smith, but they went with Michael Rectenwald. Rec is very brilliant, but he's not exactly the most charismatic guy, which is key in running a national campaign. So it was Rectenwald. I interviewed him. I also interviewed a guy named Mike Termott. I did not interview the guy who ended up winning. I actually, a few state conventions ago, got to know Chase Oliver for a second, got his life story sitting out back while everybody else is partying. So got to know the guy. But I interviewed Termott, I interviewed Rectenwald. What happens at the convention is that most of the libertarians are voting none of the above because they're libertarians. And then, so that leaves an even smaller sliver. Nobody was getting an outright majority to get the nomination to be the presidential nominee. And Rectenwald was getting the closest. But Termott decided to be a kingmaker, and he joined forces with Chase Oliver as Chase's VP.
Right.
And yeah, they got screwed.
Yeah, so in Virginia, they have a government where the locals can decide whether they want to engage in a primary process or a convention. A couple of little pockets still choose convention, and you talk about some of the most backwoods, small room horse trading. Like, yeah, I mean, that's where you see politics at its finest.
Oh, yeah.
In the corner of a, cinder block hallway with three people huddled up, striking a deal out right there.
Oh, that is the name of the game. Romex Angler's on the stream saying, libertarians will have a chance at victory when they nominate Joey Clark to lead the party. Why do you hate me, Romex?
Hey, man, I'm glad that they got the party platform out there, because as someone who's somewhat astute in politics, small libertarian, big L libertarian, I had to take notes on the different wings of the, mobs in the party now. So it's nice to see that the big L party is developing some of the same problems as the state GOP and even some local GOP groups, I know.
Yeah, and I think he's right about getting more active locally as an organization. I think there's a lot that can be done.
You got to win hearts and minds on the ground level before you can do anything else.
And a correction here, the correct website if you're looking to join the Alabama Mises Caucus is takehumanaction.com. That's takehumanaction.com, a reference to Ludwig von Mises's economic treatise, Human Action. The man wrote it in German. It's like a 1,200-page treatise from man acts, and he has certain ends, means to achieve his ends. It goes from the basic logic to analysis of complex monetary economies, how money and credit is issued. It is a treatise, like very philosophical. He wrote it in German. He escapes, I think, the Nazis, and it loses the manuscript. So from memory, he rewrites it again. And they also, get it translated into English. He finds some folks, I think it was at NYU, they give him a place to stay in the United States. And it's just, I can't, a mind on somebody like that. Those sort of cars don't pass you every day.
Do you think he was a little worried about someone plagiarizing his thoughts, or do you think it was one of those like, I don't think anyone's going to read all that drivel.
No, I don't think anybody could necessarily, unless your name's Murray Rothbard, I don't think you could truly emulate what Ludwig von Mises is putting down. He's one of the economic greats for good reason.
Right.
He had forebearers that he was improving upon too, but he systematized it in a way that's pretty amazing.
A little highbrow for the times.
Yes, for the times that we live in. Yeah, oh my God. Like, everything's so dumb now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed it. Like, I'm getting dumber. Everything's getting dumb.
I mean, the standard reading age has dropped. AP used to be right for a 10th grade level. Now I think it's 7th.
Well, and then if you look at, like, the military gives an IQ test if you want to join the military, and they've been tracking it for a century now. And we are getting dumber and dumber and dumber. Or at least the high IQ folks are staying far, far away from the military.
I saw a separate article that said for the first time we were scoring lower on IQ tests. So I don't think it was just the military.
No, it's not. That's just a good proxy because they have a lot of data over many years. But hey, we got to hit another quick break. This part of the program first, though, brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team are ready to help you. Well, whether you're looking to buy or sell in the Montgomery and surrounding areas, Bo's been working in the River Region real estate market for over 40 years. And with that 4+ decades of experience, they can go to work for you. And it's not just if you're looking to buy or sell property. They also have management services available should you want to rent out your home. And then the crown jewel there, where his 40+ years of experience really comes into play, is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed in the state because of all the folks that have gone through it, graduated from the class, and they've found great success. Whether it's fully licensed realtors is a great way to study up for a, real estate license, or is more knowledgeable private players. So check out the Goodson Group today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson, the Goodson Group. Great sponsor here of the program.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, from the moment we pick up the phone, you will hear the difference. We are passionate about what we do. To us, you're not just another applicant. When you call on us, you are trusting that we have your best interest at heart, and we do. We treat our customers like family, and that's why our customers turn into family, coming back to us time and time again. We know you have many options when it comes to mortgage financing, and we appreciate the opportunity to earn your business. We are excited to hear from you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our passion is just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586 368, Equal Housing Lender.
Hello, Montgomery. Mark Talley here, host of The Score on WCOV Fox 20. I'd like to invite you to join us weekday mornings at 6 on Fox 20 for the latest sports news and insight. You can also check out show clips or stream entire episodes of The Score at WCOV.com. On The Score, we bring you the best high school, college, and professional sports news for Central Alabama. Join us on The Score weekdays, 6 a.m. on WCOV Fox 20.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Byron Sheehy showing off his I Like Bourbon shirt.
No, but it's the... and 3 people.
And maybe 3 people.
Maybe 3 people.
See, I just saw the bourbon part. I'm like, man, 3 people's a lot.
We can always revise down.
Yeah, it's just bourbon.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to say, I like bourbon. Just have a shirt that says bourbon. People will start
explaining. Yeah, redundant at that point.
Yeah, and you know, I always think about Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, that click going off in his head there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's, my 20s. Let's go to line 3. Let's go to Laura Lane. Hey, Laura, how are you doing?
Hey, Joey, how are you?
Good.
Good, good. I have a quick question. Where's Eddie?
Eddie is busy doing something with real estate or drones or I don't know. He might be fishing.
Okay, well, the reason I'm calling is because, back in February, there was this deal where you were going to be the MC, basically, for the presidential debate at the state convention. Yeah. Well, I'm calling in my marker since you got sick and I had to fill in for you.
Yeah, and I appreciate you doing that. And I actually miss days of work, which I never do. And I'll be blunt, I hate missing paydays. So I was, that sucked. That was not a good, fun call to have to make.
Yeah, that was, it did suck. And I had never done such a thing before, but I think between myself and John Sophocles, we handled it pretty well. And I was really proud of all of the nominees that were up there. So, Eddie said that you owed me really, really big for this. So I'm calling in my marker on this one.
Okay.
And I want you to have Chase Oliver on the show.
Sure, I'll interview him.
Yeah, now you had mentioned that you had interviewed the vice presidential nominee, Mike Termott.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, now you got to have Chase on, and I private messaged you the link for the media sources and stuff. And he's not too far away, so he can either call in or actually come to the studio, because he's based right out of Atlanta.
Okay.
So,
well, yeah, let's set it up.
Yeah, and if anybody's interested in finding out more about him, they can go to votechaseoliver.org and read all of his platform and everything. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really, really would like to hear him and you go at it. So.
Sure. Like, it's more, I'll talk to anybody. I think people know where I'm coming from, but I would be, and I met Chase. I think Chase is fine personally. It's just differences of opinion and messaging, all that. But I'd look forward to talking to him. Let's definitely set it up.
Okay, will do. Thanks for taking the call. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Laura. And thank you for filling in for me when I was sick.
She did you a solid.
Yeah, she did.
Big time.
Mm-hmm. And John Sophocles, and talk about a wise man.
I've met John a couple of times. He is
he really is
very astute.
So how about this? Let's hit a break because we have a very special guest in the studio. And first time here? Wait, no. It's Madeline Cannon of Alabama Home Mortgage. She'll be joining us right after the break.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Russian President Putin has thanked Kim Jong-un and North Korea for supporting his actions in Ukraine. He says the two countries would work together to overcome U.S.-led sanctions. Their countries are deepening their alignment in the face of intensifying confrontations with Washington. Putin will be making his first trip to North Korea in 24 years. A team of Haitian police commanders have met Kenya's Inspector General of Police ahead of a planned deployment to the violence-hit Caribbean country expected to take place by the end of June. Kenya is set to lead a UN-backed multinational peacekeeping mission to combat gang violence in Haiti that has left thousands of people dead. The Dow up 7 points, the NASDAQ adding 16. This is SRN News.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Not officially summer yet, but getting close. The summer solstice is Thursday. Today, pretty routine, high 95. Once again, triple digits on the heat index. A sun and cloud mix. The risk of a isolated shower, maybe a random thunderstorm. Most towns get skipped, and mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. Low tonight down to about 73. Low 90s tomorrow and Wednesday. Good bit of sunshine. Rain chances mostly under 20%. And not much change on the first day of summer, Thursday, high 94. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. Former FBI agent and Alabama State Trooper Christopher Bauer faces life in prison after being found guilty of molesting a child for 6 years. Bauer was found guilty of sodomy first degree and sexual abuse of a child under 12 years old. Christopher Bauer began his law enforcement career as a Montgomery police officer in 2009. Tuskegee police have identified the victim killed in a shooting that left one man dead and 3 others injured. 26-year-old Kadarius Beeson was killed in the Saturday shooting at a gas station on East Martin Luther King Highway. 3 other adult males were also wounded. No arrests have been made. Officials with victims of crime and leniency announced that founder Miriam Sheehan passed away on Monday. Sheehan became an advocate for crime victims after the murder of her daughter Quinette in 1976 and would go on to establish the Vocal organization in Montgomery. Miriam Sheehan was 91 years old. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
This is James Cole with Cole Plumbing, and I want to thank Blue Water Broadcasting. I have been advertising with them for several years, and they have brought me quality business. I really appreciate them.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contract. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers.
It's
It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Apparently, we got some sparring going on at a COVID origins hearing in the United States Senate. And there's apparently a new Nintendo video game coming out called Mario and Luigi Brothership. So we'll get to all that, or we won't. But I'm very much happy that, is that even a way to put it? That Madeline Cannon is here from Alabama Home Mortgage. How you doing?
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Where's Addie?
I don't know. I'm sitting here in his seat, keeping
We got
it
the
warm.
better end of the deal, man.
That's
I
true.
promise.
I think we did. I think we did. So, how's it going there at Alabama Home Mortgage?
It's going great. Yeah, we're starting to pick up a little bit. Seeing a lot more people interested in refinancing, something that had kind of fallen off a little bit with the rates the way they are. But as unfortunately the economy continues to go down the track it's been on, people are finding themselves drowning in credit card debt. And it's still a good time to take a look at possibly cashing out to alleviate some of that debt and free up some money at month end.
Now, I've realized in all the trips and you've made here and all the conversations I've had with you as well as Kim that I don't think I'm fully going to, ever really fully understand the business y'all do. Y'all are the true experts. But there's a lot I don't understand because I haven't gone through personally the home buying process. So there are words that are thrown around. Or I'm like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
Escrow.
Escrow. Yeah.
What's that?
It's just a fancy word for savings account. So part of being a homeowner is you're responsible for paying your property taxes to the county as well as your homeowner's insurance. And those items, depending on the loan program, may be required to be part of your mortgage monthly payment. And so if it is required, then that can change, obviously, year over year. Your principal and interest, if you have a fixed rate, will not change, but your escrow items, your homeowner's insurance and property taxes can change. And every year when that is reassessed, you get an escrow analysis at year end, and they'll say, hey, we've collected enough from you over the year to satisfy the bills due to the county or the homeowner's insurance provider, or we're short by X amount because that premium has increased. And like everything else, whether you're going to the gas pump, grocery store, everything's more expensive. We're seeing that extraordinarily so on the homeowner's insurance side. It's more expensive because the cost of materials, the cost of labor have gone up. And so most people's annual premiums on homeowners insurance are going up. And because of that, in turn, their mortgage payments going up. So we've been getting a lot of phone calls about that. So I just kind of wanted to break down what goes into an escrow. Now, also part of your escrow would be your mortgage insurance if it's required. Mortgage insurance is avoided only if you purchase a home and have 20% down.
Okay.
If you don't have 20% down, there are other options, but in turn, you have to pay mortgage insurance. It's an insurance policy for the lender, not you, in exchange for allowing you to purchase that home with a little down payment. On a conventional loan, that mortgage insurance is based off your loan to value and your credit score. And it's not for the life of the loan. So even if you don't put 20% down at the start, once you reach 20% equity through making your monthly payments, then that mortgage insurance can come off. Versus on an FHA mortgage, it's 0.55% of your loan amount for the rest of the loan.
Okay.
If you put the minimum 3.5% down that's required by FHA. If you don't, you can put 10% down at the time of purchase, and that mortgage insurance will fall off after 11 years.
So if somebody has a mortgage, they're paying a lot more than they expected, and they want to get into the specifics of what's going on with them, they could, of course, call y'all.
Yeah, pick up your mortgage statement, give us a call. We can take a look at it, see what's going on with your escrow. It could be something very simple as far as just calling and making sure that your escrow analysis was done properly.
Okay. Well, and I love how y'all actually get to know the customer. It's not just a number. That y'all are getting to know them, their goals in either buying or refinancing. And, it's still, I've been lately saying, we often talk about refinancing as like you're in trouble with credit card debt, which is a great reason to refinance, or other types of debt. But it doesn't have to be a bad reason, right? It could be, no, I've got this equity built up, I want to rearrange my finances.
That's right. I mean, it's your equity, it's your money, so you can use it how you see fit. I've had a customer called me here recently. It was a repeat client of ours, one that we actually worked with back in 2020, who is interested in buying some land that's adjacent to his home. And he otherwise doesn't have the money to do so. So he gave us a call to explore options about cashing out $100,000 to buy the land next door so that he can keep, somebody else from buying it and building something on it. So there's all kinds of ways to use that money.
Awesome. Well, and y'all are still specializing in helping veterans?
Of course, we're still certified veteran lending specialists. So that means we keep up with the latest and greatest that the VA loan program has to offer our veterans.
Okay. And, there are a lot of veterans still walking around. We've been telling them on this show in particular for years now that, like, Alabama Home Mortgage, they know veterans. They know the ladies with the VA. But there's still a lot of veterans who aren't taking advantage of this, right?
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's because they've just not been educated about it. I wish it was part of, like, the military discharge paperwork that they had to sit down and tell you about what your benefits were as it related to home ownership and the VA. But unfortunately, a lot of the knowledge they have is just from, talking around the water cooler kind of thing. And it's a lot of information that unfortunately is just not right. People think that because they've used their VA mortgage eligibility in the past that they're not able to use it more than once. And that's not the case. So if you have ever used your VA mortgage eligibility in the past, more likely than not, you do qualify for another VA mortgage, and it's worth it to explore that option.
Awesome. Well, folks, Alabama Home Mortgage should be the first place you call. If you're looking to buy a home, if you're looking to refinance that mortgage, if you're a veteran and you just heard us now, you need to go with Alabama Home Mortgage. That is your first call, 567-4223. That's still the number, right?
That's still us, 567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com.
NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. So, how's the rest of life outside of work?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Going strong?
Yeah. My little baby's about to turn 1.
Oh, my goodness.
Congrats.
Thank you. He'll be 1 in July, so it's gone by fast.
I need to learn the timeline. So when do they start to walk? When do they start to talk?
He's getting very close to walking. So he's cruising furniture, where they walk around and hold on and he'll let go. But we've only gotten a couple steps and then we get a little nervous. So
be driving in no time.
Yeah.
How do you stay not sick as a parent?
Good question.
Well, it does help that my mom retired and keeps the boys.
Okay.
So they're not in daycare. That's a big part of it. Daycare seems to be a petri dish.
Yeah. Yeah. When Lucy came to visit, it's like I had something for 2 weeks after her visit. It was like
where the culprit of this came from.
Might be.
I know it is.
Oh yeah, another kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're just kicking the can though, because once they do get into school, then we'll just have all the sickness then.
Right. It's good for the immune system.
That's right.
You got to go through it. Everybody got all weird about it during COVID, but I think this is just, if you're healthy, this is the nature of the world that we live in. So,
I mean, heck, driving over here, there's still people driving in cars by themselves with masks on. Help me understand.
I've noticed that the poor souls that are still masking up.
It's 100 degrees.
And their votes count.
Yeah, it is like you're in your own car. Why are you wearing a mask? Like, and I'm not going to shame anybody. It's just, I find it odd.
Yes.
Maybe it's to cover up talking to themselves. They don't want people to see that.
That might be. Yeah, maybe it's sort of like you put on a costume and you feel like a different person. It explains the whole furry phenomena.
Yeah, a lot of people were getting away with doing that and committing crime.
Oh, there's that
It
too.
was easy to do. You expect that if you see someone wearing a ski mask, you don't necessarily think of it if they're wearing a,
Now, is pantyhose, is that what you have to do if you're going to rob a bank?
I'm still open to the whole furry thing, robbing a bank.
The furry robbing a bank.
I mean, if we're going to go down this road.
It is a weird road. And it's like every Friday on Twitter X, it's Furry Friday trending.
Oh, wow.
And
I'm not on Twitter, so I guess I'm missing out.
I don't click on it. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole right before showtime. But, I for the life of me, I don't understand it. The most I do understand is you can put on a costume and you are not yourself. You're somebody different. You feel protected almost. I remember playing football. You suit up. Like you got the helmet on. You're everything, is ready to go. You do feel a little different. Like you're ready. Like the uniform, suited and booted even, can be a real thing.
Man, if this was not family-friendly radio, I could tell you a story about being at a hotel one weekend when the furry convention was actually happening. I was for a concert, and a buddy of mine or a group of friends of mine, we came in after the show. Some of the things that we saw that night.
Like in the hallways?
Doors were wide open.
Oh my God.
Yes.
The fact there's enough of them to have a convention is alarming to me.
Because it's not just like let's get dressed up like animals, sort of wholesome, silly thing, right?
Imagine a bunch of fish fans and a bunch of furry people in the same hotel. Deer Creek, Indiana, circa 2008.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
A furry convention.
Uh-huh.
And the internet's just made this stuff grow. Like, if you probably were like 40, 50 years ago, you might have had an inclination, I kind of want to dress up like a dog, like a cartoon dog. And people would look at you odd. They would be like, what's wrong with you, man? But it was like you in your small town of a few thousand. Now you can, even if you're in that small town, still find millions online who's like, I want to dress up like a cartoon dog too. And could you put a leash on me?
Do you remember the scene from The Shining where the dude was dressed up as the dog?
Oh, it's coming back to me.
Furry's roots run deep.
Man, and then it ties into the moon landing too. That's a whole thing. That's a whole thing. I don't know why we're getting all these calls. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this? Hello, anybody there? All right, I guess not. Line 3, you're on there. Who's this?
This is Sweet D. I have an answer for you guys. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Why do some people wear a mask in the car by themselves? That's the question.
Yes.
Some people have lupus, like myself, and it looks like I'm wearing a hijab, actually. So the Montgomery police decided to do their job one day and make me take off my tinted window. I am highly allergic to the sun. It turns me into a monster. So I have to have my face covered all the time. So if I'm not in the sun. So when I'm in my car, I have this mask on that goes from ear to ear, covers up everything but my eyes. And that's why I wear a mask in the car. I don't want the sun to kill me.
But this isn't like
COVID.
It had nothing to do with COVID, and it doesn't even. It sounds like what you have. It doesn't even look like a COVID mask. I mean, I'm glad
It doesn't
you.
look like a COVID mask. It doesn't look like a COVID
Right.
mask. But if I don't have it, sometimes I do put on just regular masks just to cover up my jaw,
Sure.
But I usually need my whole face covered. So yeah, that's why some people wear masks.
Oh yeah, I mean, and they're always
exceptions.
Ailments too, and I didn't even know that about you, D.
You didn't?
No, I've somehow.
I've been suffering for 24 years. It's like
Well,
it's fine in the winter time, but in the summer it's horrendous. Like I can't go to the beach. I can't do anything on at night.
Well, I think I saw you once, and I was like, she knows her place before God and man. I mean, and it's like, oh no, it's a different thing, completely different thing. Well, I appreciate the clarification. We have one very good reason why somebody might wear a mask.
And I'm not Muslim, so it's not really.
I appreciate it, D. Thank you.
All right, talk to you later, everybody.
Let's go to line 4. You're on there. Who's this?
Hola.
Hello, Eric.
How y'all doing?
All right.
That's good. You know, some people, there's a previous radio host that said that those masks were a godsend to people that were like, on 5 and 6 on the beauty scale. That was the best thing that ever happened to them with that mask. Little Bugs Bunny there, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's like me when I wear sunglasses, and then I take them off and be like, ah.
Oh, no, he's Italian.
Italian?
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know either.
Well, that makes 3 of us. 4.
You ever dressed up and bark like a dog, Eric?
No, but I do like gladiators. Does that count?
Yeah, something like that. He's called Eric the Dog, but that's D-A-W-G, right?
Yeah, dog.
Yeah.
There ain't no. That's how you spell dog. I don't know. I didn't know there was another way to spell dog. So I moved to Alabama. But y'all were talking about. Y'all were talking about something serious. No,
About escrow?
Oh, yeah, no.
Nobody wants to talk about that.
Well,
Furries in escrow, maybe.
Oh, that's what it was. You said furries and fish heads, and I was just wondering, how they got that smell out of there, because you know that, the next convention that came in, they'd be like,
I'm pretty sure the crew showed up in hazmat suits.
I would have. You see that going down, it's just, I was in Birmingham last year at the mall there, and they had a furry convention in there. And let me tell you, I was walking around with my wife, and she had to keep shutting my mouth, because it was just, these people are brave. They have the confidence of a 6-year-old in a Spider-Man cape.
A Spider-Man cape?
Yeah, my kid's got a Spider-Man, or my grandkid's got a Spider-Man cape.
Well, Spider-Man doesn't wear a cape.
All right,
but he has a cape that is Spider-Man themed.
Okay, but hold on. There is like some practicality as far as like some stuff going on in Alabama on this. Like some of these schools that are having like kids, dressing up as cats and wanting to like drink water out of it. Like, you've heard this thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you got.
I mean,
you got to take them
that's
down
where
to
this
the old
comes from.
veterinarian and get them fixed before they get older.
That's just.
You got to spay and neuter if you love them. You got to spay and neuter them.
I agree with that.
Stays right.
Well, and I think Byron and I are definitely of the age to get the reference, but sticking feathers up your butt does not make you a chicken.
All right, Fight Club. A lot of good.
There you go.
We don't talk about it.
We don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Until you do talk about it. Hey,
well, I saw the comedian Mark Norman, and he said, based on after hearing responding to allegations of beating people up, Brad Pitt responded, the first rule of Fight Club. I'm like, oh my god.
The best. What was that? I freaking forgot. They were gonna. And I forgot. I'm just gonna let you go before I say something dumb.
Okay.
Too late. All right, y'all.
Later.
Louis C.K. is making a comeback.
He really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good to see Louis making a comeback. I hope. Who's the Indian comedian?
Aziz
Ansari. Yeah, he kind of got wrapped up in that too.
Really?
Yeah. Like, okay, Harvey Weinstein needs to be in jail for a long, long time. I would say the same of Bill Cosby. Or that whole Hollywood casting couch thing where if you want to get this movie, you want to be a star, here, get in bed with me. Like, yeah, bad. Sort of manipulating, coercing people into the sort of sexual favors world. With Louis, it came across as he was just being creepy.
Well,
like he wasn't coercing anybody.
Past creepy, over the line, very much someone I would never want to be on a Skype with. But outside of that, I mean, I don't really know if it was anything that did harm to someone.
Right. Yes. He was
More than their eyeballs.
Right.
Right.
Hence the Skype.
Yeah.
And then I guess Aziz had a bad date. Like he tried to make the girl in this interview described in detail the moves he made, and she didn't seem all that into it. And I mean, and he eventually kind of stopped making moves and was like, okay, I'll get you a car if you want to go home or something. Like, it just seemed like a sad, awkward one of those, he thought he had a green light and he didn't.
Yeah, he can't overpower like a 7-year-old.
Right.
I mean, he's what, 155 pounds? 5'5"? No, like any chick would whoop his butt if he tried to do something.
It just seems like we have these moral panics that sometimes are very warranted and then they go too far.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I saw that, I mentioned this with the mayor, when I saw the hashtag believe all women, would you believe all women, Madeline?
No.
Right.
Would you believe that the mayor hired the new comms director? Have you seen?
I saw the announcement that there's a new comms director.
Well, that might be me playing catch up from being sick the other day, but I thought that it was pretty interesting that in the situation that he's in and how to get the public to understand what he's actually doing to address this problem, instead of actually addressing the problem, he went and hired someone to try to figure out the best way to explain that to the audience.
No, I don't. I think it's just I honestly do think it's coincidence because the guy who was doing that job, he did for Mayor Strange, like Griff.
Right, but he's
Like he had not been there though for a while,
Right.
And they had an outside guy, and I think it was just about time to hire a new city comms person for the mayor's office.
priorities, I guess.
Yeah,
maybe that's a
right,
better
right.
way I should say it.
Well, the search for a new chief is certainly ongoing.
We can get to that now.
Yeah, finally. But I kind of want to just stick with stupid news. Justin Timberlake
I was going to bring it up if you didn't.
arrested in the Hamptons for driving intoxicated.
I saw that.
On a golf cart?
Yeah, I don't think it was a golf cart. I think it was a full-on vehicle.
Come on, JT.
Yeah, on June the 18th, 2024, Justin Timberlake was arrested in the Hamptons for allegedly driving while intoxicated. The arrest was reported by multiple news outlets, including AP, ABC News, and local news channels. Timberlake is set to appear in court following the incident. And, there's a lot of serious write-ups of how dare you drive drunk, and I agree with that. But then you're also seeing, the memes are glorious.
Oh, I haven't seen them yet. I saw
Yeah.
the headline first thing this morning before going into the office.
Because how many clips of this guy dancing exist? So it's like, hey, sir, can you walk this line? And then it's him dancing around on the stage. But I want to know what the blood alcohol level was.
Man, he was only probably drinking some fruity purple drink with an umbrella in it. I mean, JT doesn't exactly strike me as the guy that's going to drink 3 or 4 low balls of 18-year-old scotch.
Right. Well, who knows? It's just this is one of, I think, the downsides of celebrity.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people get caught doing this. And it is a problem. You're going to hurt yourself or hurt somebody else or kill somebody else in that sort of behavior. But as soon as you're a celebrity, I saw the same crap with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez are having trouble. There's some stuff that just seems personal, and it's like, I see it and I'm like, okay, I wonder how drunk he was.
Right.
And do you think he really gets in trouble for this?
No. The golfer. What's he going to get?
Oh, nothing. This was an actual offense Timberlake pulled. Like, what Scheffler did was...
Well, that was also an actual offense.
Not the same way.
Well, until we get video of JT trying to, dance doing bye 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 or whatever it was, proving his sobriety, we won't know.
Yeah, but anyway, that's a big story in the news because apparently we are a celebrity-driven society. Another odd story, though. Secret Service agent robbed at gunpoint in California, Tustin, California, during Joe Biden's fundraising trip to L.A. It occurred in a residential community about an hour southeast of Los Angeles. The agent, who was not injured, had his bag stolen, and he was, held at gunpoint. Like, you think, I'm Secret Service. Imagine the training's quite good for those folks, but a gun is an equalizer, even for the criminals that are untrained. But it makes you go, where was your gun? Why did you have to give up your bag? Why'd you have to give up your weapon? But it sparked conversation about the crime rates nationwide because the report by the FBI is crime's down. And we talked about this with Kevin Murphy yesterday. A lot of folks saying, no, some of the biggest departments in the country aren't reporting. And actually, Kevin gave us the breakdown that this is a new reporting system. Mm-hmm. And a lot of places didn't want to keep reporting. It's been new for a while now, but it's the cooperation isn't full across the board.
I want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly. Mm-hmm. So the way that the crimes have been reported have been changed for a while now.
For a little while, yeah.
Okay.
And all these departments have been slow to actually filling in the reporting system.
I'm shocked.
And using it.
and on top of that, I believe, Bessemer and Birmingham, 2 of the top 10 violent cities in the country.
And I think Kevin said something like 90-something% of Alabama police departments do report. So, but Los Angeles apparently didn't report. New York didn't report. There's all these places. So it gives Alabama sort of a bad name. And this is why I keep coming back to lies, damn lies, and statistics.
You're not going to convince me that the reason our numbers are what they are is because our guys are diligent in their paperwork.
I think Alabama boys are diligent in their paperwork. Who are you?
Did you do your homework on time?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was a good Catholic boy.
Yeah.
I was a good guy.
Uh-huh.
Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Red Top.
Hey, Red Top.
Let me turn my radio off here, sir. There's one thing that nobody wants to talk about, and I know it's hard for you to bring up to these guys. That goes with the mayor and Kevin Murphy that was with you yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to talk about it's all this, mostly 16 to 20, 30-year-old black guys that are doing all this stuff. And I don't think we can avoid
Red Top, did you listen to my interview with the mayor?
I sure did.
Literally asked a big question about this.
And what did he have to say, Joey?
He said that he put in the context that he was at the Morehouse graduation, and he's seeing all these great young men who are doing right across that stage, great young black men, and he's very conscious of the fact that 95+% of the shootings are young black men killing one another in his city, and it's a cultural issue. It's guys going to the gun first to settle what should be often a small misunderstanding or argument. And, I mean, he said he's very just cognizant of the fact that that's the reality. You still there, Red Top?
I went to a black university.
Uh-huh.
A lot of very smart, highly classed people. There's a lot of tremendously smart businessmen and black people in Montgomery that I deal with every day.
Right.
And this is such a weird outside group. It's just hard to see how nobody can control them or don't want to talk about it a whole hell of a lot. But and I just.
But if you're going to come at me and nobody talks about it, and we've literally talked about it for several minutes in a 40-minute interview, come on.
Yeah. Okay. And weird position because the city of Montgomery is such a small portion of the county. We got a whole damn county to take care of.
Yeah.
Now, city-county consolidation, 1960, Joey.
You broke up. Say that again.
Idea. Talking about city-county consolidation.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody seemed to think it was a good idea, but I think there's too much power involved in these two stratas of government, the county and the city, for either one of them to want to give anything up.
Well, and also Kevin yesterday was saying sort of metro system is a huge lift, and I don't think anybody's ready for it.
No, I don't think so either, but it's too bad that we have so many police departments in Montgomery, and there seems to be this random group. So I hope it stops because it's truly a tragedy. And I guess this new immigration thing, Joe Biden.
Red Top, you're breaking up. I appreciate it, man. Driving me nuts too. It's like, did you see this? It's yeah. We saw all of that. How about this? Let's hit a break. And when we come back, 7 ways politicians avoid responsibility.
I can think of more than 7.
I was going to say, how did you limit it?
I mean, I'm good at what I do, Byron. Or I'm overconfident, one of the two.
Go with the first.
This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And they're at Cole Plumbing. Well, James and the team are ready to help you with all of your potential plumbing problems. It could be a big one, like a huge leak inside or outside your home. Well, they have proprietary pipelining technology there at Cole Plumbing that allows them with minimal discomfort to you and your home to get in there and solve the problem. But it's not just the big jobs. It's stuff like low water pressure or a clogged drain, or maybe you have a tree root invasion or a gas line leak, or it could be you don't have really a problem at all, but you want to upgrade to, say, a tankless water heater system, or you want to upgrade that bathroom, maybe even get a taller toilet if you're getting up there in age. Sometimes the hips and knees start, failing, and you don't want it to be a chore to, do your business. Well, they can help you with all of that there discreetly at Cole Plumbing. So you can always go to coleplumbing.com or give them a call at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole.
Well done. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with an update on the real estate market in the River region. Sales of homes for the last 5 months will top 1,900 homes. Even though sales are slightly lower, the average sales price is still climbing. First-home homebuyers comprise over 34% of all sales, with no slowdown in sight for them. We now have more homes on the market in all price ranges, which gives buyers more choices than they've had in over 2 years. Some helpful suggestions for today's homebuyer would be: 1. Work with a local lender for your loan approval. 2. List 3 must-haves for your new home and seek to find properties to match your needs. 3. Work with an experienced and knowledgeable real estate agent to help you with your search, your showings, and receive advice on offers and negotiations. 4. Always use a licensed recommended home inspector when you find the home you choose. For all the details, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdis. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Not officially summer yet, but getting close. The summer solstice is Thursday. Today, pretty routine, high 95. Once again, triple digits on the heat index. A sun and cloud mix. The risk of a isolated shower, maybe a random thunderstorm. Most towns get skipped, and mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. Low tonight down to about 73. Low 90s tomorrow and Wednesday. Good bit of sunshine. Rain chances mostly under 20%. And not much change on the first day of summer, Thursday, high 94. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Don't miss our great package deal right now on a 25 horsepower Kubota tractor with front end loader and more. All for 0% APR 84 months with approved credit.
Now through September 30th, 2024. See Capital Tractor or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Joey Clark.
You know, folks, politicians like to make everything about them, except when it may reflect on them negatively. It's true. They are more than happy than to take credit for anything good under the sun, but they eschew any responsibility when their name is to blame. Indeed, politics often amounts to taking credit for others' victories while avoiding responsibility for any of your own possible failures. Just ask a politician the next time you see them, but when you have a private word with them, only in private. Privately, politicians are able to speak freely. Privately, they're quite candid and charming. In fact, politicians are some of the most good-natured, trustworthy, and principled people I've ever met privately. And I must say, it's quite a sight to see politicians' private glee when they share their most creative fib or artful dodge, especially when they unironically believe their frauds serve some higher cause. Of course, in the public eye, most of these politicians will avoid any discussion of dabbling in the political dark arts. That's half the game, to publicly deny, deflect, and project what you're actually up to privately. So let us go through a few of the ways politicians avoid responsibility. Number 1, denial. Denying a problem or their involvement in a problem is elementary for politicians. Keep in mind that the average voter is impressionable and insecure when it comes to the truth, and often quite deferential by nature. Thus, projecting just the right amount of confidence while denying the underlying facts is usually enough to make the average man or woman question their own grip on reality and give the politician a pass. Number 2, deflection. Where outright denial isn't an option, sometimes the facts are so plain that no amount of confidence will do to obscure the truth. Politicians often channel their inner street magician, deploying the art of misdirection. No matter the pressing question at hand, there are always more interesting questions to be answered. By answering another question no one asked, politicians divert attention away from the original issue. It's a tried and true method of steering the public conversation away from uncomfortable truths. Number 3, blame. Where denial and deflection are insufficient, politicians have a knack for pointing fingers when it's whether it's a previous administration, opposition parties, or their very own underlings. Throw the lower level ranks under the bus. That's a classic. It's a classic game of passing the buck to some other poor soul. Indeed, politics is often the art of calling out other people's sins while being sure to conceal your own. One never have to prove yourself a saint in the political arena, only that one's opponent is a worse sinner. Prove your opposition deserves a deeper circle of hell than you, and you're that much closer to heaven. The suspicious public is an insatiable beast, and their suspicion is easily turned towards others' guilt and culpability. Very few in public life are truly innocent and are rightfully suspected of something sordid. Their tragedy is usually being found guilty for the sins of others rather than the sins they actually earned. Number 4, minimization. Sometimes responsibility can't be denied, deflected, or blamed on others. That's when politicians embrace the policy of minimization or shrinkage, making problems seem smaller than they are. Much like an outright denial, politicians escape scrutiny by downplaying the severity or importance of an issue, making people question their own wits and sense of proportions when it comes to their grievances. Number 5, maximization. The opposite of minimization, politicians can also garner sympathy from the public and shirk responsibility by claiming a problem is so big and so complex that only God himself could solve it. Never trust a politician who is quick to have the public join in the serenity prayer. Similar to the blame game, maximization as a policy means that instead of blaming other people, politicians blame external forces beyond anyone's control, let alone their own. History in particular is a favorite scapegoat for politicians. Unrealized hopes and dreams, as well as wickedly complex social or societal pathologies, must always be contextualized in history. In politics, the ghost of yesteryear can always be ritually blamed for the failures of the present. Number 6, lies, damn lies, and statistics. No explanation is needed for the falsity and depravity of statistics, especially when used by politicians to avoid responsibility. Thus, I will simply quote Mark Twain. Figures often beguile me, particularly when I have the arranging of them myself, in which case the remark attributed to Disraeli would often apply with justice and force. There are 3 kinds of lies: lies, damn lies, and statistics. Number 7, token action. When concerned and forced to acknowledge an issue, politicians often resort to token actions. These are minimal or symbolic gestures designed to create the illusion of addressing the problem without making substantive changes. It's akin to putting a fresh coat of paint on a crumbling wall, superficial and ultimately ineffective. By doing just enough to appease the public, they dodge the real work of enacting meaningful solutions in a responsible way. You know, when it comes to politicians, I sometimes suspect that, like everyone else, we often expect too much of them. Perhaps it's time we adjust our expectations, take responsibility for our own lives, and instead of blaming politicians, we privately and politely tell the next politician we see, you do not speak for me. That's the 7 I came up with, at least. I mean, any thoughts, any critiques here? Like, how should we punch this thing up? It's a work in progress.
I think we could add one.
Add one.
And I don't know how to actually articulate it, but instead of the token action, it's creating more problems or compounding problems when there shouldn't be some. Like we have a traffic problem on Interstate 65, so let's widen the interstate because that's going to solve the traffic problem. No, that's going to create more traffic, so now we're just going to have more,
It's just wider traffic jams?
We're going to have 4 lanes of stalled traffic instead of 2. And it's going to cost more money to do it.
But what if they genuinely think making it wider is going to help?
Well, they can think that, but there's studies that show that it doesn't. Like, scientists and engineers have already solved this.
No, they don't care if, as long as they say it over and over and over again, it makes it true.
Or if their buddies are lobbyists and they get some kickbacks or some campaign contributions, and that industry may actually benefit from such said plan, something like that.
And this is just hypothetical.
Hypothetical. Insert issue.
Right. No, I see your point that we're going to do a thing that we think is going to solve the problem, and it's actually just going to create more problems. Or compound the issue already there.
The TARP bailout. I was told we had to do something.
That's true.
We had to do something.
Had to, or the money wasn't going to be in the bank.
Or
ATMs wouldn't give cash. Payroll wouldn't be.
We
met.
might have a depression for 3 years.
Right.
Instead of the world we're living in now.
We can call that like Chicken Little syndrome. The sky is falling, the sky is falling.
Yeah. No, there's all these different ways things happen. And of course, it's not just politics. People do this in everyday life. But I just find it remarkable how much politicians really do just duck, dive, dodge, like whenever there's actually a problem in front of them.
It's bold strategy.
Well, and I would love if they just came out and admit, like, I actually can't do much for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's more your own choices.
My scope.
Right. I think that would be the more honest approach. And sometimes you'll hear them say that. Like, and to their credit, those are the best ones that can sort of weasel the truth into the answer. I think those are the guys that get away with it best.
Yeah, I mean, being honest is always the best way to handle it. Like, we didn't get into this problem in a day. It wasn't just 1 or 2 of us, and it's not just going to be 1 or 2 of us getting us out.
Have you ever been at a town hall, somebody asks something, everybody's like, and the politician just goes, are you stupid? Like, you ever see a politician outright belittle a constituent?
I have actually seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a real thing. Big boying somebody.
Yeah.
But sometimes people deserve it. There's a way to go about it where you're not a complete ass.
I don't think a public official should ever belittle a voter in public.
Yeah.
So long as it's not personal. Like if the voter actually had a question and presented it in a very thoughtful way, or the politician should.
But you know what I'm talking about. Right. Not everybody who shows up at a town hall has got a thoughtful question.
If you got an axe to grind, then put someone in their place. I mean, game recognizes game. I see what kind of trick you're playing. I can play back. Yeah.
Match
I'm
energy.
all for that. Exactly.
Why are you working with George Soros?
Yeah.
And just yelling it at somebody. It's like, well, can you show me how this is going about?
I love using just stupidity and just playing back at him and stuff like that. I'd be like, he pays more money.
Yeah, I just I find the flattery of the American people. Remember when the guy who was the architect of Obamacare said he was relying on the stupidity of the American people, and all these folks were like, oh, "We're not stupid. We're Americans, hardworking." It's like, yeah, but Obamacare got passed, you dopes. And maybe you should stop pretending you're in charge and that they work for you. They don't. They work for the donors and other things.
The one you said that was maximization, meaning they were not taking accountability for it because it's something bigger than them, only God can fix, right?
It's a big,
but
big
what's
problem.
interesting to me is there are certain political powers that believe that they can control the weather and things that would be godlike things.
Yeah, that's the kicker.
You know?
Play God on some reproductive issues or what have you. It's funny where we get to pick and choose what issues are too large to deal with.
Right.
You know, that levee, it was an act of God. You know, that hurricane just came through and it flooded that whole town, and there was nothing we could do about it. Well, the levee was damn broken for 30 years.
Well,
you know?
and the reductio absurdum would be, I know what crimes happened in Montgomery. It all started when somebody whispered that thing to Eve. And then Adam believed her too.
If the Chinese would have never invented gunpowder, man.
Right, yeah. History's fun to...
Yeah.
You got to contextualize it. Goodness gracious. Sometimes I wonder why I even cover this crap. Pays the
What
bills.
else are we going to do?
Pays the mortgage, so to speak.
Yeah.
So
Bringing it full circle.
we gotta hit a break here. First, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And they're just great folks there at Dillon Rings. And today, if you go to their Instagram page, you can see, I don't think I know this. Tanzanite? It's blue, like deep blue. Beautiful. So it's custom-made Tanzanite earrings and necklace set. Legend has it that Tanzanite could strengthen the immune system, regenerate cells, skin, and hair, and detoxify the blood. It was also believed to help with mental and emotional issues such as stress and fear. Wow. Actually, here, I'll show you, Madeline. It's actually kind of...
I'll give you one guess where it's from.
Where? Tanzania? I didn't let you answer. I'm sorry.
Well, you know the answer.
But this is like, they never fail to amaze me over there. And you know Josh and them, right?
Mm-hmm. Great people.
They really are great folks. And they always have unique offerings there at Dillon Rings. And if you go in, look at the stock, you're like, I don't know if I'm quite, they can make you something. Like you had a dream. Like anything your heart desires, Josh Ryder can make it into jewelry.
And he can fix anything too. I can attest to that.
Absolutely.
With a toddler who likes to pull my necklace off my body every time I wear it.
And he can do it quick too.
Yes. And he actually does it for a lot of the local jewelers in town.
Yep. And they are a full service jewelry shop there at Dillon Rings. So check them out today. You can go to Facebook or Instagram, but I really encourage you to stop by 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie that Joey and everybody else on the radio sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Sunday, July 21st, 6:30 p.m. at the Montgomery Performing Arts Center, it's Wayne Newton live. Mr. Las Vegas himself, Wayne Newton, takes the Impact stage for one night only, Sunday night, July 21st. Wayne Newton, up close and personal at the Montgomery Performing Arts Center, July 21st at 6:30 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at the Impact Box Office or online at Ticketmaster.com.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. You know, after that kick butt show yesterday with Kevin Murphy, I really appreciate you two being here because I'm just not in the mood today. You know how you're not in the mood sometimes?
Oh, quite often.
Well, you might need to go to Montgomery Men's Health then. Sounds like a...
What a segue.
Well, they are the sponsor here for this part of the program.
Stepped right into that one, didn't I?
No, but I get it. Like, if you're never in the mood, gentlemen, like you have no sex drive, especially if you're 80, okay, that's probably normal. But if you're, say, in your 20s, 30s, even your 40s, and you're noticing, like, I'm just no desire there. And it's not just that. Like, you're getting a little chubbier, and you hadn't changed your eating patterns, you're losing muscle mass, and you still work out. You just feel tired all the live long day, like you're walking through your life in a fog. It could very well be low testosterone. And the beautiful thing is Montgomery Men's Health was created to help out guys who have these issues, but also guys who hate going to the doctor. Like, I hate going to the doctor. But they're discreet. They're designed to take care of men who usually don't want to do that normal doctor's visit. So here's the deal. They can do a test, a testosterone test. It'll also include a PSA score, which is a great marker for prostate health without the whole, like, finger thing. So get the test done. It'll be only $99 to get that testosterone and PSA test. And they'll sit down and have a consultation with you, what's actually troubling you. And they have low T treatments if that is your problem that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. That's right, brother.
Look at him trying to stand in for Eddie.
Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. You usually even notice an increased libido, which is just a fancy Latin term for sex drive. So check them out today. You can actually book the same day that you call. 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today. I didn't even plan that segue. I'm truly not in the mood, right? I'm not talking about sex. Like, I mean, like, not in the mood to just... You look at the news some days and you go, ugh. Justin Timberlake got a DUI. Oh, oop-de-doo. What's the world coming to? All of our Mouseketeers have gone crazy.
Well, yeah. Brittany, Christina. Yeah.
Isn't Christina the most, like, normal of them?
I think so.
Wasn't Ryan Gosling also a mouse?
He was.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about
Good
him.
call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him first seeing him. It was Remember the Titans.
I'm going to say he was probably the most normal
Yeah,
musketeer.
I always have liked Ryan Gosling as an actor, but you gotta wonder, to get as high as he's gotten in Hollywood, what sort of weird satanic sex stuff did he have to do?
Well, no, because you said that you like, and we all know that that's the kiss of death. As soon as you like someone in Hollywood, some skeleton falls out of the closet.
Yeah, but
Just when you thought he couldn't get bigger after Notebook, and then he,
Oh, yeah,
becomes
blew
Ken
up.
and Barbie, right?
yeah, no, and then he did a little cult classic. Remember that movie Drive that came out
Oh,
a
yeah.
few years back? Yeah, and he barely speaks in it, but it's a great film, like slow burn.
His role in The Big Short, tremendous.
Oh yeah, oh he's great in The Big Short. No, I Drive is one I'll revisit every once in a while because Albert Brooks, who's the director, but he's an incredible actor. Like, he is the bad guy in that movie, and it's the most menacing, like, bad guy performance in my memory.
Now, I've watched that, and I didn't.
That's Albert Brooks.
I didn't even realize it.
Yeah,
That's
he's
crazy.
that good. How much he just gets into that role, and you're
Okay.
like, okay, this is a true gangster who will knife you. All right. Anyway, on that note, it's good to see you, Madeline.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, we got Eddie, I think, coming in. He's done with drone school or something.
Oh, of course he is when it's time for me to leave. I
I
think he's
know.
avoiding me.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should wait in the hall for a second and, like, hit him in the head or something.
Rough him up a little bit.
Yeah, I think that he deserves it.
I hope he has like footage or documentation of him at drone school.
Well, he is actually. He showed me stuff.
It's like band camp.
He's shown me film that he shot with his drone.
Eddie, don't put it there.
And he's getting very good with it. Like it took a lot of learning because you had to do a whole like pilot's
right.
test. Yeah, know all the FAA rules, even though you're just doing a little drone out at the lake or over properties. You had to know the whole daggum thing.
Thank goodness we didn't have to do that when we had little remote control airplanes, man.
Oh, I miss those. Well, I guess I'm an adult now. I could just go buy one.
Mm-hmm.
Something to do, maybe. New hobby.
They're expensive toys.
Yeah, they are.
Go give the government their money.
But really is great seeing you, Madeline.
Thank you.
And y'all stay tuned. Final hour coming up. Even though I'm not in the mood, we still got to do it.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The shooter who killed 5 people and injured 19 others at a nightclub in Colorado Springs has pleaded guilty to 50 federal hate crimes. Anderson Lee Aldrich entered the pleas in Denver. He's already serving life in prison after pleading guilty last year to state charges in that 2022 shooting. Residents of a southern New Mexico mountain village have fled their homes under evacuation orders with little time to rescue belongings as fast-moving wildfires bore down on that village of 7,000 residents. Traffic clogged Ruidosas downtown streets for hours on Monday as smoke darkened the evening sky and 100-foot flames climbed a ridgeline. The fire with 0% containment. The Dow up 18 points, the NASDAQ 1 point in the red. This is SRN News.
Government debt is now exploding by an unprecedented $1 trillion every 90 days. Think of that. It's a clear sign that our nation's finances are spinning out of control, and it's putting the savings of every one of you at risk. Hello, I'm Lance Wallnow, a news analyst and best-selling author and an evangelical leader. I'm deeply concerned about the impact this runaway debt is going to have on Christians like you who have worked hard to build your own nest egg for your family. To protect your financial future in these uncertain times, you need to diversify with something tangible and proven, like physical gold. That's why I recommend a gold IRA. To learn more, text FAITH to the number 989898, and my friends at Birch Gold Group will rush you a free info kit on how to move your IRA or 401k to physical precious metals, tax and penalty free. So don't wait. Just text the word FAITH to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Not officially summer yet, but getting close. The summer solstice is Thursday. Today, pretty routine, high 95. Once again, triple digits on the heat index. A sun and cloud mix. The risk of a isolated shower, maybe a random thunderstorm. Most towns get skipped, and mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. Low tonight down to about 73. Low 90s tomorrow and Wednesday. Good bit of sunshine. Rain chances mostly under 20%. And not much change on the first day of summer, Thursday, high 94. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
1819 News.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is taking cues from Alabama when it comes to a law that bans transgender surgeries for minors. DeSantis says his state will appeal an injunction that was just placed by a federal judge on a Florida law that is very similar to Alabama's VCAP bill.
Because it's wrong to mutilate minors. It is wrong. It is wrong to perform a sex change on a 16-year-old. You're not allowed to get a tattoo, but somehow you can have your privates cut off. Give me a break. This is wrong. And I would also say this has already been decided by the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. They upheld Alabama's law, which was almost identical to Florida's law. This will be reversed. There's no question it'll be reversed. Absolutely, we are going to defend the people of Florida. I am not going to turn over the destiny of this state to liberal judges.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
I'm Amy Beth Shaver with Alabama Unfiltered Radio, and when I need the news and I need it fast, I turn to Andrea Tice and the Daily Detail. On my way in, it is the most convenient, best way for me to digest what's going on so that I can use it for our show. She tells you what's going on in Alabama that day first and fast. So listen to the Daily Detail with Andrea Tice. Don't miss out.
The Daily Detail is available wherever podcasts are found.
Well, there is a debate watch party that's being planned in South Alabama. The Mobile County Republican Executive Committee is putting together an event to watch the debate on CNN between Donald Trump and Joe Biden that happens June 27th. The watch party will be held at Azteca's restaurant. I'm Andrea Tyson.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Now you can add the power of digital advertising to the number one reach of radio. Let Blue Water's 20 years of local advertising and marketing success show you how. Grow your business with a complete suite of digital solutions, combined with the reach of the most listened to radio group in the River region. Call us or go to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out how we can increase your return on investment. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Bates House of Turkey is celebrating their first anniversary in Montgomery and 100 years in business with a renovated Montgomery location. Come enjoy the famous hickory smoked turkey sandwiches, the old-fashioned roast turkey dinners, and their expanded grab-and-go frozen casseroles and soups. There's plenty of room for small groups in the expanded dining room. Order online at BatesHouseOfTurkey.com. Dine-in, carry-out, and delivery services available. Bates House of Turkey in Montgomery is open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eat turkey, feel turkey.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
What the hell are we doing here?
We are behaving the way a superpower ought to behave.
Well, our behavior has produced some crappy results.
Joey Clark.
Really has produced some crappy results. Welcome back. Like I said at the end of the last hour, I'm honestly not in the mood, but I'm a little happier now. Eddie's here.
I'm here, buddy.
How you doing? You just missed Madeline.
I caught her in the hallway.
Did she give you one?
Well, actually, I feel bad. She walked into that table. She's going to end up with this nasty bruise on her leg. You ever walk into like something and...
So she got the worst of it after
she did. I really feel bad because I know
This is not good.
It's summer season and she's going to have this big old bullseye thing on her leg.
That might be karma. She said she was going to get him and she got herself.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I did not know she was trying to get me.
Yeah, Eddie's actually kind of like a Bermuda Triangle of karma.
Oh, it can happen.
Yeah, like there's some weird things that happen around this guy.
Yeah. I don't even know where to begin with that, but yeah. If it's not happening to me, it's happening to someone else.
Now, I mentioned this to Judge Napolitano.
I was the judge today.
It was good.
Good.
I think that was one of the better parts of the show today.
Good.
Always is.
Yeah. Judge Knapp's great. Even when I disagree with him, I'm like, this guy, I freaking love this man. But I mentioned to him this parlor game's going on. So I just want to get y'all on the record. Do you think Joe Biden's lost his step? That pop ain't all there? That he's slowing down? That he's got the dements? That he's eating the ice cream? And the pudding?
Yeah. Dude, he's been out for a while.
Well, you must be a right winger.
Okay.
What do you say?
I mean, is that just the general litmus test? If you think he's lost his whereabouts, then you're far right wackadoo?
Yeah, emphasis on white.
Okay. I mean, I just, dude, prove me wrong. How about that?
No, we're now being told this is right-wing misinformation. That Joe Biden is losing his step is right-wing misinformation.
What's it called when you see it with your own eyes and they tell you don't know what you're seeing? You don't know what
But
you're looking
these videos are they're edited.
No, I literally watched Barack take 2 steps to the left, say, "Come on, old man," and then watch him, whisk him off the stage. Otherwise, he'd still be standing there today.
Well, you see, you need to be deprogrammed. Shut up for a second, Nicole. You need to be deprogrammed.
Okay.
Like you and I both. We have been in a right-wing echo chamber here in deep South Alabama for too long. You too. I know all these campaigns you worked on. You've drank the Kool-Aid.
Have these people not heard me talk about like people driving in their 70s? I would have got rid of him a long time ago.
Yes.
My thing is this, and I said this when Meemaw ran. If you don't trust her to get behind a car and drive from here to Atlanta by herself, why in the hell would you put her over the state or the United States? Come on, guys. This is the biggest thing you can do.
Don't talk about Kay Ivey that way.
She's a wonderful woman. However,
by the way, Tate Reeves, my favorite governor, just because his name is Tate, challenged Kay Ivey in the Alabama legislature. It's like some legislature against legislature softball,
to a game of quarters
thing.
Yeah. Oh, he's toast.
Yeah, it's charity softball. It's actually, we'll get to that in a second, because Tate Governor Tate Reeves puts out the challenge, and Governor Ivey is in rare form in response. Oh, you don't know what you got yourself into, Tate. Isn't that right, Missy? Why are you shaking your head?
I'm just waiting for this to go down.
What's the challenge?
I can't wait
now?
to watch.
Well, they're going to play softball. Yeah, this is where...
Man, she's going to have heat stroke.
I know, dude.
No, she's not going to play
this?
softball. The legislators are going to play softball against one another. The governor's just issuing the challenges.
Gotcha.
The executives they are. Anyway, we'll get to that in a second. First, we need to deprogram everybody in this room and everybody out there listening.
We got enough time.
So let's go to somebody who used to work for Republicans, right? Nicole Wallace. That's a solid conservative. Everybody who worked for George W. Bush was conservative. And now they're completely fair and impartial. So let's listen in. She's going to deprogram all of us.
Insidious trend in right-wing media, broadcast, print, and social media. It is to take highly misleading and selectively edited videos of President Biden directly from Republican National Committee social media accounts, and then use those videos to spread messages virally to cast doubt on President Biden's fitness for office. Here is this headline from the New York Post, quote, "Biden appears to freeze up, has to be led off stage by Obama at Megabucks LA fundraiser." The full video, posted by Biden finance chair on Twitter, shows something entirely different. Biden reacting to applause and then walking off stage with former President Obama. It comes less than 1 week after the New York Post made a cover out of another piece of...
No, hold on, Nicole.
Gotta call BS on that one.
He is at first like waving.
Yeah.
He's waving and he's like, "Hey, thank you, Jimmy Kimmel, and say hi to Sarah Silverman for me, Jimmy." And he's waving and stuff. And then there's the moment where he stops and he's got like the cornholio hands out, and he's just got the 1,000-yard stare.
Yep.
And we've seen this time and time again.
You see it a lot if you go to certain old folks' homes.
But there's a new term they've come up with to describe what she just said, right-wing media, especially irredeemable people like us. They're calling them not deep fakes, because that would just be untrue. It's not a deep fake. That is Joe Biden. They're calling it cheap fakes. And it's not just her. It's Mean Green Jeans. Like they're pushing out this word of cheap fakes. And if you see the full context, he's completely within his wits.
If they would have said cheap takes, I would have been like, okay, yeah, we know he's old. He's going to fall and break his hip at any moment.
Yeah.
But it's not fake.
It's not fake.
I mean,
it's not
very
fake.
real.
Remember Air Force One? You know the steps that he uses for Air Force One now? As opposed to the ones in the past?
It's the short ones that squeak when you walk.
Yeah. Yeah, the ones designated not for the president.
Come get the rubber ducky,
You
Mr.
remember
President.
those old presidential fitness tests we had to take when we were kids?
Oh,
We
yeah.
had to reverse engineer that. So
Yeah.
now the president has to take the presidential fitness test, and it's got to be like, you got to slam a shot, kill your beer, finish your cigarette, and then go run a mile. And if you can't do that, then you can't be president.
I think that's actually a pretty good rule. So let's see what. Not a good makeup day for her yesterday. Green Jean put out there like it's gauche. It's. Ugh.
But they just keep making up more words.
Wretched. Let's listen. And
secondly, there seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if
they've been edited to make him look frail and confused.
Okay.
How about the interviews we've watched? Where he looks frail and confused.
Maybe they mean like we just take all the empty space or all the dead time out and then just have his segments where he's speaking incoherently.
Mm.
And maybe that's what they mean by editing them.
Maybe, or it's like, let's hear Green Jean's take.
the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern that we're seeing more of now.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly
You all. This wasn't like something that came down from the DNC to like, right.
exactly what they are. They are cheap fakes video. They are done in bad faith.
Bad faith.
And some of your news organization have been very clear, have stressed that these right-wing critics of the president have a credibility problem because of the fact checkers have repeatedly caught them pushing misinformation, disinformation. And so we see this, and this is something coming from your part of the world, calling them cheap fakes and misinformation. And I'll quote the Washington Post, where they wrote about this, and
which is just the secondary internal memo office for the federal government and the ruling class. The New York Times is number one. That's the true memo service.
I want to see where was this coined? Where's the first time it was printed?
He said how Republicans use misleading videos to attack Biden in a 24-hour period. And to their credit, we have a conservative Washington Examiner did call them out as well, calling out the New York Post. Ironically, several recent cheap fakes actually attack the president for thanking troops. That is what they're attacking the president for. Both in Normandy this happened, and again in Italy. And I think that it tells you everything that we need to know about how desperate Republicans are here. And instead of talking about the president's performance in office, and what I mean by that is his legislative wins, what he's been able to do for the American people across the country, we're seeing these deep fakes.
It's a stinky perfume she's got on.
I know it's June, but why is everything so lame and gay now? Like, it just is.
Well, when she mentioned soldiers, one thing they don't want people to know is, they're not giving raises because of them. They're not giving any raises to enlisted men. That's your government, buddy. That's the ones that are fixing to send our boys overseas again.
It just baffles me that the people that can see Joe Biden's got issues the most are old people because they're experiencing it, or maybe they saw a spouse go through it, or a friend go through it. You see parents go through it. A lot of people are aware of this problem in our politics in general.
You're leaving out a subgroup. The age right below that, they're kids, which makes up a pretty big voting block. They've seen their parents go through it, and they're seeing some of the same signs in the president.
Like the way he walks. Seriously. Like, he doesn't come across somebody who's all fleet-footed, ready to go. He's very careful with his steps.
Also,
and very small with his steps.
He's very snappy, and they give him a little bit of pushback. Very snappy.
And the idea that, no, he's not an old man. And actually, Trump's the old man. It's like, my God.
They're both old
how about they're both old men?
I mean,
how about everybody's operating in bad faith that's trying to win political power? How about there's a credibility issue with all your asses in the ruling class, Democrat, Republican alike? Karine? But she's just doing her job. I get it.
I can tell that she doesn't like doing her job that day either.
Yeah.
I can't wait. She had a crap sandwich, man.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just, I guess we weren't deprogrammed. I was hoping that somebody would change my mind here. And
no, I just long for the day when she's back at CNN.
Do you?
Because that means Joe Biden is no longer president.
How much longer do you think CNN's going to last?
Well, once Trump becomes president again, they're going to take off again. Buy some stock.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, Trump is like a shot in the arm for the corporate
Look at the
media.
numbers every single time.
Yeah, there's something about
Got to
that.
have an enemy, right?
Now, speaking of CNN, this clip was making the rounds, and apparently this guy never had a drunk uncle at Thanksgiving.
Biden touts his reelection campaign as a fight to preserve democracy. But if you ask some Trump supporters, the former president is not a threat to democracy because the United States is not a democracy. CNN's Donnie O'Sullivan spoke to some of those supporters.
What happens if Trump loses?
I don't see him losing.
I don't think he lost the last election, to be honest.
Do you think he's going to win?
Yes. Without a doubt. No doubt.
What if he doesn't this time? What happens to the country?
We're in trouble. We're in big trouble. Done. If Biden talks about democracy, saving democracy, they're the ones that are killing democracy.
Obviously, there's a lot of criticisms of Trump that he is bad for democracy, that he's bad for American democracy.
Okay,
We
so
are a republic.
We're a republic.
We are
We're
not a
representative
democracy.
republic. We're not a democracy.
One thing we've been hearing at Trump rallies like this over the past few months is that America isn't really a democracy.
America's not a democracy, it's a republic.
Like, it's not a democracy. Okay, democracy is actually not as good as you think it is.
But for centuries, America has celebrated its democracy.
Good God. This superstitious crap.
This is why we shouldn't let foreigners do U.S. news.
Yeah, I was noticing the accent on this guy.
I mean, most Americans get it wrong also. We're not a democracy. Sorry.
It's just, it also like the music and like, oh, America has celebrated being a democracy. Okay. That's why I wrote the piece I did a couple weeks ago. They've deified the word. You have essentially replaced God. Like, if you said something awful about somebody's God, that's the way people behave when you go, we're not a democracy. Even if you mean it like in a technical, historical sense. Oh my God! Oh no! Yeah, we have to be a democracy so we can go and, get thousands and thousands and thousands killed all over the world. That's what justice is.
Well, I mean, it's also so that we can take en masse from, that minority population that has the wealth and distribute it the way that we want it distributed. I mean, let's call it for what it is.
No.
I mean, I think day one I sat in and you were hitting on socialism. I mean, it's an agenda.
Yeah, it is the agenda. Well, and democracy honestly means our hegemony, our power.
Mm-hmm.
It's not technically anything about government. You could get all technical about government if you want. And the original plan is there was an element of democracy in our system, but it was also balanced by the other forms of government historically, one being monarchy. That's what the president is. And the other being more the aristocracy. That's what the Senate is supposed to be.
Was.
Not as much these days. It's kind of still, but not as much as it was.
Whenever they got direct election.
Right. Like John Adams and a lot of them had read, say, Discourses on Livy by Machiavelli.
Mm-hmm.
Like Adams was a true political scientist. Madison, too, was a true political scientist. And these folks understood that democracy could be just as tyrannical, if not more so, and crazier than any other form of government, including monarchy and aristocracy or oligarchy. We had this thing. It is amazing how in American history you have the Revolution, right? We all learn about the American Revolution and the War for Independence. And like we open up a can of whoop ass at Yorktown and they surrender. And then it's like blank out and we're at the Constitutional Convention, right?
That's what happened.
And there's like a pretty long period of time right there. It's like, what happened? Like
we called scene and then we opened a new scene. Doing the Constitution.
There was this thing called the Articles of Confederation that was very much like Athenian democracy in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of bonkers. Though, I mean, I'm not saying the federal government's better, but the whole point of the federal government, the Constitutional Convention was a right-wing coup, you dopes.
Have you read some of the other conventions or speeches from the other convention in New York?
Mm-mm.
Go back.
Read some speeches.
There's some great back and forth on the issues. I mean, there's a day and a half worth of debate on term limits.
Right.
You know, I mean, like the founding fathers got into it at these conventions and talked about a lot of the
at the state ratifying conventions and at the
well, the one in New York, I think it was maybe 4 or 5 months before Philly.
Okay. Yeah.
And I want to say they didn't have 2 of the necessary states needed. So
well, and again, this is how our society and governance actually works, folks. If you actually care about this, it's never really about the words on the page. Excuse me, pardon me, for those who, treat the Constitution like God. It's never about words on the page. It's always about what are the most powerful people in society, the people that influence your ideas, the people that have the money, the pull, and the privilege. Where do they want to go with things? There are occasionally outbreaks of you get somebody like a Napoleon, or you get somebody like the Jacobins in the French Revolution. You get outbreaks, but generally speaking, it's that few ruling elite that make decisions. So we get the Constitution not by following the process that was in the Articles of Confederation. No, they just decided it. And as you said, it wasn't just Philly. There's all the smart people that were running governments at the state level and running societies at the state level decide, you know what, I think we need to make a change. And they did. And it's a thing called the Constitution they put in place. And we act like we still follow that thing. We don't.
Not even close.
I would say Woodrow Wilson helped usher in a new age that completely flipped the Madisonian system on its head. Then I think there's a whole other revolution that happens during World War II with FDR. Especially the advent of nuclear weapons. You get the administrative state. You get the national security state. And in fact, it's with Wilson, and then especially with FDR and going forward, that you hear all this language of democracy. And you're like, well, it kind of seems like it's more technocratic managerial control that people get a say, but they're often, the things the people say are told to them to say by all the elites in the media. Like, where'd you figure out how to say that, Eddie? Who'd you learn that from?
Media.
Yeah, most of the time. Some people are true original thinkers, not many. I don't claim to be one.
Not many at all.
Yeah.
A lot of people are parrots.
And so it's just a huge mess. And honestly, I'm giving this segment too much credit because it's not about government. They have deified the word in order to protect people in power who are doing a crappy job. I don't have any illusions. There will always be a ruling elite. Whether you have a democracy or a monarchy or you're just straight up run by aristocrats, you will always have a ruling elite.
Yeah, but I think the beauty of our country is that should roll.
Yes, there should be circulation.
Yeah, those people should, that office should rotate.
And that's the genius of somebody like an Adams and the other founders is all these types of government need to be able to compete with one another. That actual liberty breathes when power checks power.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do have a say, you can't say challenge a thing in court or maybe challenge a thing like an election in the Congress of the United States. Like you're allowed to do these things. Though we're now trying to criminalize legal theories, apparently. Look up John Eastman, who Trump relied on. So you'll always have a ruling elite. I just want a ruling elite that are doing a good job, that aren't going into all these foreign wars, getting thousands of people killed unnecessarily. Like Ron Paul's got a great op-ed. How many billions did we spend helping the Saudis fight the Houthis? And then win? And they're now stopping shipping lanes. We can go through the whole foreign policy record. I'm tired of a ruling elite who still pretends like every war can be analogized by Hitler and Munich. I want a ruling elite that doesn't say, in the name of compassion, we're going to tell parents that if you don't give your kids hormones or full-on sex change surgeries, they're going to commit suicide. I would like a ruling elite that isn't run by a bunch of clowns in the corporate media that will say whatever stuff you want to hear. I would like a ruling elite that's actually competent.
That'd be a change.
Instead, we're getting folks that are essentially telling you, no, saving money's old hat. Sound money's old hat. We can just create money out of thin air. Oh, if you really want to take us on, you don't need AR-15s.
Right.
You need F-15s. Not a joke.
And
you get that crap.
And reluctant. I don't want someone so quick to want to be a 40, 50, 60-year career politician. I want someone that's got diverse life experience, wisdom, some technical proficiency, and, a solid background, raised a family or not, depending on, choices or whatever. But I want those people. I don't want people with stars in their eyes, just ambitious as hell, going over there just to,
make an impact, a mark on the world.
No. Not make an impact on the world, to fulfill their dream.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if someone made a positive impact on the world, I'd be all for it.
Well, and again, I would like a ruling elite that doesn't, create chimeric viruses out of nowhere. Even after it's banned in the country, that same elite's still working with people in China, and then that, spreads all over the world. And now apparently the bird flu gain of function thing's a real thing. Yeah, like when you look at the elite, I would like an elite in the education system. Higher education's, their approval ratings are in the toilet. And it's because people are seeing the product.
Yeah.
I'd like the media to actually be able to do their job, the universities to actually be able to do their job, scientists to actually be engaged in helpful, useful research.
Well, a lot of scientists are, but they're not ever really listened to.
No, they're not.
Or they're demonized by the opposing political party, and they're paid for scientists because it doesn't fit their political narrative.
Yeah, and it's built into the system. Like, I really would like a ruling elite, too, that isn't just about the bottom line, that is independent of the almighty, I wrote this esoteric law as a legislative staffer so I can go get a great job at Pfizer.
Yeah.
Or pick whatever other big industry. It's just miserable. And all of that, all this ranting and raving, folks, all of that is covered up by the word, we're democracy. Are any of you starting to understand why I and a lot of other people, millions of Americans, are frustrated and pissed off? Because you have a crap system that is creating bad outcomes for everyday people, and as soon as somebody says, maybe we should change it, you just want to take down our democracy. You're just like Hitler or Viktor Orban, which, the two aren't even the same. Anyway, like I said, I'm not in the mood today.
I was going to say, and you said you didn't want to do it today.
I'm not in the mood. I didn't want to have to do this. I didn't want to have to yell and scream and rant and rave. Not in front of Eddie. He seemed like he was having a good day.
I'm having a really good day, I'll be honest.
And now he seems a little sullen.
I just decided I would look other things up. There's a really cool story about a monolith that showed up.
I saw that.
That fake crap.
See, now you've been tainted.
Well, why don't you go?
No matter what,
why don't you go touch it? See if you gain a few IQ points.
I would. Let's go to Vegas. You stay by the road.
All right.
And I'll go.
You'll go touch the monolith with your tongue, and what's going to happen is he's going to realize tools. Space Odyssey.
Being a redneck I am, I'll probably touch it, and then I'll probably be on it before I leave.
It's going to be taste like snozberries.
Really, if you're like Dr. Manhattan, you just start glowing blue, and what?
Well, I'd be looking back. I told you, Joey. I told you. I told you.
Well, I want to lick it now, too.
Nope, it's all gone.
Yep.
It's just, it's an amazing time. It really is an amazing time. And
it's just crazy.
Sometimes I just get tired of the dishonest, manipulative games, especially with language. These ideas are great that founded this country, that have been improved upon. I'm not saying the founders were demigods by any means. I think the people of this country, if you set them free and you allow them to work outside of systems that are irredeemably corrupt, the American people, if you set them free, will surprise the American people.
Yep.
I think the American people would be surprised and shocked and actually have giraffe legs, baby giraffe legs. I don't know how quickly we would acquiesce to being a truly free society.
I think there are a lot of very capable people. There will always be followers.
But I'm just saying, it would be shock. If all of a sudden we did have a free market system and the government wasn't picking winners and losers. If every license was open for competition and it wasn't just, my buddies getting this behind this closed door or whatever.
Yep. Yeah. But that's the world we currently live in. It's just a shame to see it run by corrupt fools who are, yes, old and senile. no matter what you say. Oh, it's cheap. It's just stop.
Can't argue with that.
Stop.
It's not
Stop.
just corrupt fools. They're the scapegoats. They're the patsies. It's the evil puppet masters behind the fools.
Right.
That's why I say with Biden, I feel sorry for him. I want to know the people behind the scenes because they're going to be here after he's gone.
Exactly.
And to me, we can never let those folks.
Well, and everything's become about show. Like, think of it, the science stuff we just mentioned. If you global warming, climate change. If you, and I think there's a guy named Nordhaus who actually did this, like a Nobel winner, who's a lukewarmist. He's like, yeah, I think it's warming a little bit. Humans have something to do with it, but we can manage it through innovation, adaptation. Renewables are a good idea, but we can lick this thing. You think he's getting grant funding?
Heck no.
It's not because it's some like big scheme to push out the guy. It's because it's not sexy. It doesn't get the headline.
It doesn't fit the narrative.
Yes, exactly right. And so you got to sit here and wonder, who the hell are these people coming up with these narratives? Some folks, oh, it's a CIA or it's a New York Times or who knows?
It's the group that says, hey, we're going to sell these carbon taxes and we're going to have a swap market for those.
Yeah. And it's just anarchy loosed upon the world. That's where my mind goes. Let it happen.
Those are the same people who sold
let it all fall down.
Clothes.
Mm-hmm.
We're all going to be living in Potterville?
Pottersville?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
As opposed to Bedford Falls?
Whatever the...
Yeah, it's a wonderful life. Yeah. The Bedford Falls didn't seem that great. Oh, your money's not here in the bank. Your money's in Eddie's house.
Hey, man.
It's like maybe you shouldn't have got overextended, Jimmy.
It happens.
I'm just saying.
What, do you want me to lasso the moon for you?
Yeah, Joey, I do.
Let's hit a break. I'm not in the mood.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hey guys, this is Todd Clark with River Region Contracting, your premier roofing contractor in Central Alabama. So remember the name, River Region Contracting, for all your roofing needs. We're not affiliated with any other roofing company in the River Region. We've been in the roofing business since 2005. We don't have to buy our leads, and we don't have to knock on doors when the storms come around. We have thousands of satisfied customers throughout Central Alabama. So call us at 334-356-8635. That's 334-356-8635.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health...
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's Cleaning Service get your home in order. Families in the River Region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
Rich Thomas Weather, brought to you by Clark Heating, Air, and Plumbing. It's time to get your cooling system ready for the long, hot summer. Call today about the advantages of the Clark Club membership to be sure you're covered. Call 277-2125. Better call Clark. Alabama certification number 09098.
Well, hi, everybody. Not officially summer yet, but getting close. The summer solstice is Thursday. Today, pretty routine, high 95. Once again, triple digits on the heat index. A sun and cloud mix The risk of a isolated shower, maybe a random thunderstorm. Most towns get skipped, and mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. Low tonight down to about 73. Low 90s tomorrow and Wednesday. Good bit of sunshine. Rain chances mostly under 20%, and not much change on the first day of summer, Thursday, high 94. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Do you have big plans this summer? Dive into summer with an ASE Credit Union vacation loan. Whether you've got a trip coming up, projects at home, or just need a little extra cash, we've got you covered. So don't put your plans on hold. Visit yourasecu.com or stop by and see us today.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Just trying to calm down. I'm not in the mood today. But I have friends here.
You can take Ozempic.
I don't think I need Ozempic.
Why, you've been having two normal dreams?
I heard that commercial they're talking about oily stools.
Yeah.
I don't want to take Ozempic.
That'll leak.
Ooh.
Yeah. I know some people have taken it. Some have had success, but one person in particular said
you
that
have
the
to
dreams
stab
they
yourself?
had. Yeah, I could.
Dreams?
Yeah, they said their dreams were just super intense. Super intense. Yeah.
Like
I was
fever
you dream of being
dreams?
skinny or something? They're like, no, just really intense dreams.
Like wolf chasing you, or
Waking up in the neighbor's yard.
Or it's like you're living in a house and it seems like the house you used to live in with 3-4 roommates, and then you discover there's like a separate like palatial basement with all these secret compartments, and it just goes deeper and deeper, and then all of a sudden you're living in the lap of luxury, and you've got like the finest things in life. You got a harem serving you at every beck and call, and then you wake up and you go, what the hell was that?
Go back to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't need Ozempic. I already got enough
Apparently
going
not.
on with dreams.
Apparently not.
I seriously had a dream like that. It was odd.
Did you want to go back to the other house, see if you could find that door?
No, maybe go, what more is in all these other rooms? Yeah. Yeah. And I've had it a few times. Anyway, let's go to Simpler Days. Hey, Simpler Days.
It's the old 40 virgin dream,
All right.
compartment. Left door, straight down the hall. You have it once in your life, but you probably never have it again. But anyway, I think we need a special set of glasses for the upcoming presidential debate, because what we will see is not going to be reality according to the media.
Right.
And we saw Mitch McConnell lock up on numerous occasions.
Oh, yeah.
And it's clearly what's happening. And I guess they figure the deplorables can't figure it out, or if you don't have enough sense to put your britches on frontwards, that you can't see what's happening. But that's what politicians, that's what they want to do. And maybe when they have an AI or a robot standing up there and they still saying that he's there, it will still continue to buy the lie. But it's just like when the mayor was on your show, Joey, and he said, well, you asked him about, is there any data about the guns, since they asked the concealed carry, is there any data about the guns? And he said, well, we know they're taking less guns in. We know they're taking less guns in. Well, yeah, they're taking less guns in because they don't have as many police officers.
That was my whole point. It's like you can pass all the laws you want. Like if you don't have the force to enforce it.
Right.
Okay.
If you got 75 bean counters and you reduce them to 50, then you're going to have less beans counted, and you got less police officers on the street making investigative stops or writing tickets, then the probability of collecting guns is going to be a whole lot less. But,
Well, and if he hires Tinkerbell as police chief, I'm going to be very upset.
We got a new comms director, so at least we'll know who.
Joey, you got a way of putting things, my man, and that's coming.
Yep. See you, bud.
By the way, like, who was Tinkerbell in Hook?
Julia Roberts.
She was hot. I've never been a guy who's like got a thing for fairies, like mythological. Yeah, but I was
Fairies
like,
wear boots.
yeah, that's a formative.
Was
movie.
I right on that, or y'all just?
I think it
gonna
is
say my
Julia
word?
Roberts. Yeah,
Yeah, it is Julia Roberts.
yeah.
I'm looking at Twitter. Mark Cuban says to Piers Morgan and Bill Aitman, "You guys are so consumed with pandering to your Twitter followers that you've lost all objectivity. Both candidates are very old. Very old.
Yes.
Like,
No,
come
they
on,
are, but come on. Like, just watch Biden. We've been watching him now for years. That's what he said. Watch me.
Watch me.
Watch me.
And then he falls. Hey, y'all, watch this.
Let's go to Chris.
Yeah, don't believe your lying eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the politicians, I think because of social media, they're losing, I hate to say the word, but information war. They're flailing.
Yeah, they are.
By far one is dying. I mean, they just can't keep up the farce anymore. I mean, the man literally squatted and took a dump on stage or whatever he did. I mean, the guy wandered off and the Italian prime minister had to drag him back. I mean, it's just if we are seeing this as Americans, well, some of us are, and I know the world and Putin and all these other people see us as a dying country with this buffoon that's been propped up by Democrats like a Jake Sullivan and these other psychopaths. You know, they're like just laughing. You know, now you got all the BRICS coming together, right? Get all these other. They're like, you know what? That's the scariest part. I mean, do we talk about the fact that the Saudis are getting rid of the petrodollar?
Right.
I mean, we're able to print all this money because of it.
And Bloomberg's got a headline today where it's like, oh, but the dollar's still king. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's better than every other crap fiat currency, but why are central banks hoarding gold all of a sudden?
Hold on, I missed that. That's real?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Well, because, the foreign exchange rate, the dollar's still king. All these inflows of investment moving away from China to the United States. Oh, the Saudis ending the petrodollar? This is like a month ago?
They made the announcement.
Yeah, they just moved June 5th. June 5th, they said, you know what? The agreement with Kissinger is over.
Yep.
We're going to de-dollarize the transactions of oil to dollars.
And there it goes.
Do you realize if that spins out of control, that your lifestyle, I'm not trying to scare people here, but your lifestyle as an American could completely change.
Yep.
I mean, this country lives on debt, has been built on debt because of the petrodollar since the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming to an end, folks, because we have psychopaths and buffoons running this country.
Yep.
And it's trickled down all the way into our local politics. And we just have not paid attention. We just don't pay attention. And these are deadly consequences. And so that's really what I'd say. But, the fact that we're sitting there talking about this old, withering man who's, by the way, he is sitting on the beach right now as we speak.
Well, and I just wanted to tell you, Chris, I know, but if you're wearing a diaper, it doesn't count. He didn't poop his pants.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He pooped his diaper?
Right.
No. The diaper, nullifies it.
Yeah, that's right.
Somebody still had to change him.
Yeah, later. But it's not the same thing. Yeah. Hey, you poop your pants without a diaper? That's a different ball game right there.
A little bit messier.
Do you know how important it is to ramp up production immediately?
Like adult diapers?
No. Like energy with that too. I feel like
I got Joe ramping up production right now.
I don't know how.
If you're wearing a diaper, that means you know you're going to do it, right?
Yeah. Somebody knows you're going to do it,
right?
Right. It's like having duplicity.
You got to be a safety net too. But I appreciate the call, Chris.
Chris nailed it when he said they're having a hard time controlling the narrative now.
Yeah.
With fractured media and everything. imagine how much more difficult it is now to try to get the masses to buy everything
into.
hook, line, and sinker.
Well, we got to a break, and I also want to get to the Governor Tate Reeves challenging Governor Kay Ivey. That'll only take like 2 minutes. But first, this part of the program brought to you by, again, Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. As we were saying earlier, they are a full-service jewelry shop. And so whether you're looking for a great selection there from high-end to everyday jewelry, or maybe you're looking for a custom design work or a very unique piece, they can do that for you. Of course, they also do repairs, including watch repairs. But they're so good. Josh Ryder is so good. Other jewelers in town go to him to repair pieces. They can also do appraisals. If you haven't appraised that jewelry in a while, you're probably due with inflation now it's been.
Yeah.
Across the board, spa treatments like clean it up, make that jewelry polish, shimmer, and shine like it did when it was brand new. They can do it all there. So check them out today. You can always go to DillonRings.com or just search for Dillon Rings on Facebook or on Instagram. But I really encourage you to stop by their showroom, brand new renovated showroom, 119 Brown Springs Road, right here in Montgomery. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie that Joey and Eddie and Byron, those fellas on the radio, sent you. So here's Tate Reeves challenging Governor Ivey. Let's listen in.
Hey, y'all. It's Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves.
Hey, Tate.
The Mississippi legislature is taking on the Alabama legislature for charity in the first annual Battle of Tom Bigby. This softball game will be played at Trustmark Park on June the 22nd at 11 a.m. and is open to the public. Now, I'm not sure if these Alabama folks know what they're getting themselves into. They must have forgotten that Mississippi teams have won 2 of the last 3 NCAA baseball championships. We're just a state filled with winners, and we know how to play ball. I know the Mississippi legislature is going to win this game, and it's why I'm challenging Alabama Governor Kay Ivey to a bet. In the off chance that the Alabama team happens to win, then I'll send y'all a bunch of the world's best catfish found right here in Mississippi. So what do you say, Governor Ivey? You're on deck.
So y'all want to hear what Governor Ivey had to say?
No.
No, he don't.
Not really, but
Yeah, wait.
okay. Sure.
Here's Governor Ivey.
Reeves, it's your friend Governor Governor Reeves, it's your friend Governor Kay Ivey. Just go ahead and put that Mississippi catfish on ice and send it my way because the Alabama legislature is going to win this game. Tate, now I don't know if you Mississippi folks know what y'all getting yourself into, but Alabama is a baseball state. From legends like Hank Aaron and Willie Mays, Alabama is full of MVPs. Even Michael Jordan took his swing in Birmingham. And there isn't baseball without peanuts. So I'll raise you your catfish with some Sessions peanuts from Enterprise, Alabama. And don't worry, y'all. We'll keep this bet above board and across the state line. Alabama legislators, let's win this. And let's play ball.
Did she say bet, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what she said, above board and across the state line.
Very nuanced here, Kay.
Right.
Government at work.
I wish they would let us, the people, bet on, and then we could go to the game and encourage one side or the other. I got money on this game.
Well, I kind of like the idea they all wear collars so we can do a small electroshock.
I'm down with that, too. I'm very down with that.
I'd love to see if we got all the former athletes from each of the respective states that were lobbyists to field teams, which one of those teams would win.
That'd be a really good game. I got a feeling that we'd have a kick butt team, but
I know.
And also, I got a feeling Mississippi would have. They have pretty good too.
I just wonder
how to take care of those down in Mississippi team now.
I also just wonder how many mistresses will be in town for that sort of thing. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
During this time of year, you probably expect me to say, the deals are hot at Larry Puckett Chevrolet. Or, you'll look cool driving a Larry Puckett Chevrolet. Well, since the deals are hot every month at Larry Puckett, you need to know that Larry Puckett is currently having a red tag sale. Save thousands on any number of pre-owned cars. All makes and models: Chevrolet, Jeep, Nissan, Toyota, Buick. Larry Puckett has one of the largest used car inventories in the River region, so you'll have plenty to choose from. Start your summer off with a hot deal by saving a lot of bucks on new Chevrolets or pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. All makes and models at one of the River region's top auto dealers, Larry Puckett Chevrolet. Their red tag sale won't last forever, so do yourself a favor and save today. Shop them online at LarryPuckett.com. For as long as I can remember, Larry Puckett's customers have been doing the talking. Larry Puckett Chevrolet on Cobb Ford Road in Prattville.
Epicure and Jack's Tavern, a family-owned and operated treasure, invites you to break the chains and eat local. With decades of tradition, they bring you meals prepared with locally sourced ingredients. Because here, you're not just a customer, you're part of the family.
Experience the best house-aged and hand-cut steaks in the area at Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Each steak is a masterpiece, aged and cut in-house to ensure the highest quality. Join them for a steak that will elevate your dining experience.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
News happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Well, we only got a couple minutes here. Let's go right to the phones, talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray.
What's up, Ray?
Hey, guys. Have y'all tried that restaurant, that Tavern and Jack's place?
Not yet. I haven't personally gone there yet.
I've been there, but we actually we had a couple drinks there.
Oh, nice.
Look,
Very nice.
You got to have the fried crab claws. The fried crab claws where it's at.
Ooh, that sounds good.
We can go up there and see
I know it's an
Madonna.
appetizer, but I ordered one for appetizer and one for dinner.
Of course you do.
I don't eat out a lot, so if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it all the way.
Man, you're a wise man.
Yeah.
I'd do something like that.
Yeah. I mean, like, instead of ordering, like, appetizer, maybe fried crab claws, and just go straight to the dessert. One of the two.
Oh, they got great desserts.
I mean, you're living life, just like if you call Prattville Carpet and have us do your flooring. You're living life. That's the fullest.
That's good life.
It's a great life, especially if you go with the Smart Strand carpet and you get up and your toes are just happy, or this incredible vinyl plank or laminates that we have, the Pure Tech, then the dogs are happy. So call us today and let's make the whole family happy, from the wife to your toes to your dogs. 285-8117.
Again, that number, 285-8117. And when you call 285-8117, be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles here on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
You too, Ray. See you, bro.
You know, in all of her training in media, do you think Martha McCallum was ever thinking she was going to interview a fellow named Icewear Vezzo?
Ooh, I got a feeling no. And she don't look too happy about it.
And she's looking fierce, though.
Got that resting face.
I think she's hot.
Of course she do.
Yeah, it's the makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure. Wake up
Look
next
how
to
pouty
that in the
she is.
morning
Look at
and
that
then
pouty
listen. Oh, I'm having trouble today. Yeah, all right.
She needs something to make her smile. Nice diamond ring.
We literally have like 15 seconds left, but I got to say hi to Thunder.
Hey, Thunder.
Hello there. I'm going to rumble a little bit. Here it is. Maybe Coyote should pay attention more to the number of illegal invaders that are coming into our state and being welcomed into our state than she should be playing baseball or softball.
There you go.
All right, then.
Preach.
So she needs to get together and do what's right for this country and get rid of the illegal invaders coming here. We don't need them, and we don't want them. That's simple.
There you go.
Thank you, guys. Y'all keep up the good work.
Thank you, Thunder.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if these charity softball games are just an excuse for those grown men to pat each other on the butt.
Who pays for those?
I don't know. Do you think they do that, though, after they, like, get legislation passed? Like, good game?
I bet a couple do.
And on that inappropriate and rude and homophobic note, We're out of here. Happy hour with Greg Budell.
A couple of the dudes. A couple of the dudes do that.
Okay.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.